and welcome right here in week 2 of course, PMPL South Asia. This is 2023 spring season that is continuing on forth. I'm going to be your caster Blotter, joined along with, of course, none other than Shadow right here as we get started off with day number 2. So, Shadow, again, it has been a big turmoil and a change in terms of the pace of the game in week 2. T2K sitting all the way on top. What is your expectation for this day 2 of week 2?
Well, I'm certainly expecting big things from certain teams like T2K, like you mentioned. They had a fantastic run on day number 1. Yes, they didn't get that winner chicken dinner, but still consistent performance was coming from their side. Week number 1 was entirely about the Mongolian teams, 4MV and Stalwart Esports. And 4MV, well, they're sitting on the 8th position. Not a good run on the very first day of week 2. So I hope 4MV, they do recover and showcase some good performance today.
Hopefully, we definitely do have a look at that. But right now, let's move on ahead and talk about the overall schedule itself that we are a part of. Where, of course, week 1 is done. Week 2, league stage, is where we continue the journey from. 29th is today, Wednesday. And this is day number 2 of week 2, of course. After which, 30th will be a day of break, basically. That's going to be allowing the teams and the players and their coaches to kind of understand how do they want to be playing and strategizing for week 2's finals right there, because we do know on day number 5 we've got the Vikendi map that's going to be played. But apart from all of that, of course, to create that momentum and keep the morale boosted for the players, we do have a prize pool of $80,000 for all of the teams. But apart from that, one individual player is going to be walking away with the MVP and $1,000 in the bank.
Well, certainly a big prize money, but at the same time, you have the chance to earn few bonus points. Like you mentioned, Blotter, that the match of Weekendy is going to be a bonus match, and the teams in the overall ranking who are on the top, they get the chance. Top 12 teams get the chance to play the Weekendy match, but the overall ranking system, the bonus points are going to be like this. Top team gets 20 points, then it keep on reducing. But the point structure for the main games is going to be first place team gets 10 points, second gets 6, third gets 5 points only, and fourth gets only 4 points, and it keep on reducing. And the entire focus this time is going to be on the elimination points, because if you are not having the elimination points just by placement points, you are not going to rank yourself off on the overall ranking board.
That is so true, of course, and that is something that all these teams now definitely understand based on the way the point structure itself has changed, and forcing the teams to actually take fights and be a part of those first blood situations has definitely changed the pace of the game. But at the same point of time, the strategy from the teams have also definitely, taken a big change in terms of how they want to be approaching from stage 1 all the way through to stage 5. Some teams work towards just getting for that back end approach towards the zone, and of course the late rotation is what we see from their side. But right now, as we talk about week 2 itself, this is the overall ranking, where after 4 games that have played, we've got T2K sitting up on top with 0 chicken dinners, but 46 total points. Again, I mean, a 5-point lead right there, that too against a team like A+C Esports.
Well, certainly, but look at the stats of Leo Esports and Stalwart Esports as well. Yes, they are in top 5, but Stalwart Esports, 7 placement points and 27 elimination point. That means they were super aggressive. They were the dominant force. On the other side, Leo Esports, well, they have high placement points, but low elimination points. So, entire different contrasting performance from both these teams. But on the bottom this week, again, we have the players of Bad Intention with only 7 points. Few individual good fights were showcased from their side. But other than that, I think nothing is working for the players of Bad Intention. They do really need those points. They do need one chicken dinner in their hands. If not chicken dinner, at least consistent performance with double-digit elimination points if they want to play the Weekendy match this time.
Absolutely, and that's going to be so very critical for them to be able to explore all the different opportunities that are going to be part of the battleground, of course, for today's games that are going to be played from their side. Now, another thing that we need to talk about is going to be the team that is sitting all the way up on top, T2K, without a chicken dinner. Look at this team. I mean, Rig, Jane, Suyog, Sandesh, all of them have played miraculously well. I mean, Rig and Sandesh are wonderfully leading the charge basically right here as we look at the eliminations as well as the headshots that they've been a part of.
Certainly, T2K, they had a very good run yesterday in every single game. I don't think they had any bad game. Yes, the very first game in terms of placement points, they didn't fare off really well, but they got 7 elimination. After that, they finished on the 3rd position. The 3rd game also, they got decent elimination points for themselves. In the very last game which they played, they almost got that winner chicken dinner, but they placed 2nd with 16 eliminations. So T2K and IHC, these are the 2 teams who are looking so very strong in this particular week.
Absolutely. They most certainly have, taken it by a storm. But that's only day number one that's working in their favor. All the 4 games that they've played,
Yeah.
that's all the start that is available from their side for week two. That's working in their favor. But also at the same point of time, it's only 1 day's strat. So that means that as we progress on towards day two, perhaps there can be an expectation from the other teams that are sitting on the second half on the ladder of the leaderboard to be able to jump up and of course get those opportunities stolen away. Like Mavitex was one of those teams in week one.
Mhm.
They were making some really good rotations. Right now they're sitting on the 14th 15th position, I believe, on second page with 14 points. So that again clearly indicates that day one has not really been in their favor. But as you move away from their side towards another team that of course we need to talk about is going to be for Miracle Wives, a team that was looking fantabulous. The lead they've created in week one and the points that they had accumulated, that performance compared to week two's day one performance, well, again, it's just not the same team. Not sure why is that the case, but it's definitely just being pulled down through all the other teams rising up to the occasion.
I think 4 MV in the entire day number one, they had only one good game. That was the match number 4 of Miramar, where they got 14 elimination points. Other than that, in terms of the placement points, elimination points, thought they were not getting anything. So
True.
4 MV, yes, they are in top 8, they are in top 10 position, but still, this is not the performance we expect from a team like 4 MV. On the other side, the team that has impressed me this time is going to be the players of Steel Esports, because Steel, they were consistent. They
Right.
were getting yeah, they had 2 bad games, but still they got one chicken dinner for themselves, 11 elimination points, and this is the performance I expect from the players of Seal Esports, which they failed to deliver in the previous week.
Absolutely. With that, of course, right now let's move on ahead and have a look at the skin promo that's been showcased right here for the season. And we are back, of course, right here with PMPL South Asia, where, of course, spring season continues on fourth. Week two, day two is about to get started right now. And with that, today is the day of Miramars. Let's move on ahead with the schedule that's going to be clearly indicative as to why I call it the Miramar Day, because we're looking at 3 Miramars that's going to be played. So to start the day off, it's going to be a Miramar, and then, of course, in the middle, we'll have another one, and to close the day off, a Miramar once again. So an extended day, that is what we're going to be looking at. Apart from that, of course, clearly, since this is going to be match number one, we know that Group E is not going to be participating. And from Group E, we've got teams like IHC Esports, Leo Esports, Elementrix, as well as Situm Esports, who will be sitting out for the first game. That actually takes us back to the age-old question, Shadow. What team are you anticipating for this Miramar game to be walking away with the chicken dinner?
I want to pick Stalwart Esports or Train to Kill. Okay, T2K. I'll go with T2K because they were so close to getting that winner chicken dinner in the last game of yesterday, which they played. So I think they ought to get this particular one. So T2K.
All right, T2K is going to be your pick coming in for this game of Miramar. With that, from my side, I would love for Medical Wives to start showcasing some resilience to the entire lobby for week two. So 4 MVs where I'm going to be sticking my guns out towards. Again, fingers crossed. It is going to be a very pretty interesting affair to see as to from what 4MV did yesterday. Comparing that to today's performance, I really want them to rise up to the occasion. But let's see if that'll be the case or not. With that, the flight path is going to be on our screens soon enough. We're going to find out where exactly are these teams going to be focusing towards when it comes to the initial moments of the game. Along with that, when the flight path is shown, we'll also know, Shadow, where the zone, or well, we'll get an idea as to where the zone could probably be ending up.
Well, we can get an idea, but every single time my idea is never correct, because whatever zone I predict, always get an exact opposite circle of that. But talking about the flight trajectory, this time it is going from the northern side of La Cobreria towards the side of Los Leones. So that means most of the areas, drop locations are easily glidable. So teams are not going to face any kind of problem in approaching their favorite drop spots. So that also leads to the question, is there going to be any drop location change? Because yesterday in the map of Erangel, we saw some changes in the drop locations, but looks like this time, I don't think there is going to be any change.
There should not be. I would think there should not be. But again, I mean, it is still in the end up to the teams to be able to bring in some X factor play, especially the ones who are sitting on the second page. You know, they most certainly do need those points, and they need to start accumulating that as soon as possible. But away from that conversation, as we look towards the flight path, as we were talking about it, it is pretty much dissecting the map in equal halves, allowing the teams to be able to, you know, move away towards their own drop locations, which in turn does not provide us with that first blood situation as of just yet. Though if the zone ends up going towards north, oh well, there we go, it is towards north. I was just about to point out SG's position actually and talk about if the zone goes towards north, which it has. SG is looking very good. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, the way they've actually positioned themselves towards La Cabrera is looking absolutely perfect, in pristine position is what they're at. But at the same point in time, they are scattered as of now. Of course, that would imply that they're pretty busy looting up the entirety of the area. At the same point in time, when it comes to the center of the zone, we've got Seal Esports also having a pretty good start. They've got an interesting three-man split going on. Seal Sanchir is getting busy trying to grab a vehicle, whereas the other two players, Becca and Arrow from Seal Esports, they are tightly wound unit together, stuck around, getting the loot segregated. And then we've got, of course, the final player who seems to be a little scattered as well. So a really interesting drop coming in from Seal Esports, though how exactly are they planning on playing this out? We shall come back to that. Moving down south, we've got DE Venom making their way far away from the zone towards Puerto Prasia.
Well, certainly there are certain split drops coming from few teams like SKYLIGHTZ Gaming you mentioned, but it looks like it is working in their favor because the way they are split up around the hills of La Cobreria, they do have a complete control of the northern side, but they need to be a bit careful because of the players that could be lurking nearby, could be the players of raw officials, or maybe like you mentioned, Seal Esports will also head in their way. So that is something that the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, especially Mafia Ninja, needs to be careful about. But talking about the players of Stalwart Esports, yesterday Stalwart also had a very good run. They performed really good as compared to week number 1. Initially, in the very first day, Stalwarts was struggling a little bit, but this time on week number 2, they're looking super confident in terms of the performance which they have showcased. Every single game was working in their favor. And even the very first game also, they placed on the third spot with 16 finishes. High fragging game was delivered from their side. So Stalwart Esports are looking very comfortable right now in this particular circle, in the ranking of this particular week as well.
Indeed, and that is something that we expect from the side of that Mongolian team, of course. The way they are able to synergistically play and choose the fights they want to be a part of, and then again, I mean the conversion of those fights, it is so immaculate in terms of how they're able to, you know, get the sprays on point and then convert that into points for themselves without losing out on players. So yeah, I mean, SE most certainly is one of those teams that everybody should look forward to in terms of their performance. But all the crosshairs are going to be raised towards the players of 4MV today, I believe, because 4MV, the play style that they had in week 1 has diminished in week 2, or maybe it's intentional. Maybe day 1 was intentional from the side of 4MV. Though again, today is going to be the most important day for them to be able to clear out whatever doubts there might be in our viewers as well as our minds, because 4MV definitely has what it takes to be able to sit all the way on top of the leaderboard. Which again, if you talk about the league standings, they are looking very comfortable. But for week 2, in the overall rankings, of course, we saw T2K leading the charge, and then is IHC 5 points out.
Well, I do agree in the overall standings, they are looking good. But in week number 2 standings, where Abrupt Slayers are sitting on the bottom, on the 12th spot. This is not the position I expect the players of Abrupt Slayers. But I think on day number 2, things are going to change because we have triple Miramars, and Abrupt Slayers tend to perform really good whenever it comes to Miramar. So I think this could be the day for the players of Abrupt Slayers as long as they play their cards right. On the other side, we saw some unnecessary aggression from the side of the players of NB Esports, because of which they faced some casualties. Yes, decent performance came in from their side, But as compared to week number 1, day 1, I think NB Esports are still lacking behind, because the aggression that was showcased on the very first day of our tournament, NB Esports are not able to bring that aggression into the game again. On the other side, talking about the players of DEADEYES, well, even the players of DEADEYES are showcasing some good fights, but the synergy, the good rotations are still missing from this particular team, because of which they are not able to be in the top 5.
Indeed, for DRS guys, things have changed a little, definitely compared it to week 1, but there's still so much more improvement that needs to be showcased from DE. Though when it comes to DE, many times we've seen on top, we've seen True Love trying to spray down the players, trying to get those points accumulated for themselves. But it's just not been working as of yet. With that, it seems like we've got first blood situation right around the corner, as we've got Skylight Gaming Mafia Ninja in a buggy trying to get away as he gets sprayed on up from the Mini 14 in the hands of Sanchir from Seal Esports. As of yet, of course, Seal Esports' Sanchir has not been able to find his mark on Mafia Ninja, as Mafia Ninja is going to be able to get away from that position. So no harm done over there. But Seal Esports, again, very important position that they were able to actually climb up on, but sadly not able to get that point or even a knock as of now. Is going to come back to haunt them maybe, because SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, we know once they start making that rotation, they make it count. And SG towards the northern side, we're looking very comfortable. But we'll come back to that team. As for now on our screens, we've got the real soldiers as well. We've got a pretty huge split coming in right here. Still about a minute in stage 1 left, as we've got one and only one team that is in the blues that went to Puerto Palacio. That's going to be Venom DE. Again, perhaps from their side, the plan is to go for a late rotation, which we'll have to see where exactly are they going to be able to find an entry from, because they are too far east. So we'll come back to Venom DE once they start making that rotation in stage 2. Before now, apart from DRS, another team to bring up and talk about is probably going to be Raw Officials. Now, Raw Officials, they definitely need a lot more points. And in week 2, it is going to be very critical for them to be able to somehow, in every single game, get at least minimum of 6 points. But again, it's easier said than done. Right now, the point structure is such that even if you finish second after the chicken dinner winning team, you only get 6 placement points. So even getting that many points is hard ordeal for quite a lot of these teams. With that, it seems like Abrupt Slayers 3 is going to be able to find a Rogue, who's not been able to drive easily. Seal Esports' Rogue almost got caught over there on that tree. Thankfully, though, he's going to be able to get his vehicle in the safety net and away from the crosshairs of Sleepy right now. But a perfect burst damage that could have been, and resulted in, of course, Rogue falling down. Before now, ASL, the entirety of ASL is right here around the corner on this mountain. But for the team that is on the receiving end, that's going to be Seal Esports. There's just a 2-man army, the 2-man split. We'll have to see if Seal Esports are going to be allowed from ASL to get away from that compound. It seems that's highly unlikely, because NB Esports now seems to have jumped onto the compound, and from 2 individual angles, of course, Rogue and of course his teammate are trying to deliver all the way NB Esports in away from the lobby, but it's not going to be an easy task. It's a 4v2 situation, and the perfect burst damage coming in right here and the spray coming in right here is all going to be going in favor of NB Esports, as just like that, in a matter of 20 seconds, the 2 players of Seal Esports have been annihilated. NB Esports did end up taking a knock from ASL that is up on top, but apart from that, NB Esports did accumulate 2 defeat points by eliminating Seal Esports. So Seal Esports, tough luck to start the day off right here on the map of Miramar. But again, they still have 2 players remaining, so we'll have to see what exactly will the result be for them from this game.
Well, certainly not a good start for the players of Seal Esports, but Abrupt Slayers, they are placed perfectly in this situation to do a third party. They have the height advantage. They can easily spot the players of NB Esports. Yes, they did manage to find 1 knock onto 1 player, but the way Abrupt Slayers have controlled aggression, not over-committing into this particular fight, yes, they did manage to get 1 knock, but to get the greed of the confirmation point, they're still holding onto the position. They're not giving in for the greed. They're not going over to the compound of NB Esports. That is a good thing that is coming from the side of Abrupt Slayers. On the other side, well, we have the players of Seal Esports as well, trying to be the king of the hills, but looks like DE and DRS, they are also locking horns with each other, and looks like rules has been taken out. Let's see if DE can get a confirmation point, because DRS, I agree, they are not the most aggressive force in the lobby. They play strategically rather than just showing the aggression every single time. On the other side, we have two teams trying to be the king of the hills. That is going to be Bad Intention and Raw Officials. Well, looks like it's only Yeta Uta from the side of Raw Officials. He has to be very careful in this situation, because if a knock comes onto him, I don't think there is any chance that his teammates can come and rescue him.
Indeed, for officials Yarauta, it is a very difficult position that he finds himself in. But thankfully, as of now, he's not made his presence felt, I don't think. Nevertheless, we'll come back to that, as right now we've got Seal Esports' Sancher once again with his Mini 14 in the hand, trying to take utilization of course, the mountain that he's on. But while all that was going on, DRS ended up losing out on one of their players thanks to Mabitex's perfect burst. Same can be said for Venom DE as well, as they made that late rotation. They ended up losing out on one of their players as well. So we're left with 59 players, and make that again DE losing out on top, sir. So trouble is definitely now starting to spread across the entirety of the map as teams slowly get into the zone. There isn't too much of an area available to them, and as they make those rotations, of course, you've got third parties being sprayed on upon, and that in turn has resulted in a couple of them losing out on their lives right here in this first game of the day. With that, Mabitex, again, I mean, they're most certainly trying, and they have been trying since yesterday as well. But sitting on that 15th position is just not helping their cause right now, with only 14 points from 4 games.
Well, only 14 points, but on the other side, talking about the two teams of Miramar that always goes for the northern rotation, it is going to be Maptex Esports and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Yes, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they do have the control of the western front. At the same time, from the eastern side, there are the players of Maptex Esports, but look like they are in the close proximity to some teams. They're trying to pepper few bullets onto the players of Seal Esports, and looks like Sancher, you better be careful, because either Maptex or maybe DRS will also start shooting in his direction, and that is when he needs to worry about the vehicle explosion that might come in. So Seal Esports, better be careful. Maptex Esports, they also need to reposition themselves, because right now the circle has taken a bit of the shift, and it is not favoring the players of Maptex Esports. On the other side, we have the players of DRS and I8 going up against each other in their blue, and Maptex Esports, looks like one player from their side has also been knocked down.
Indeed, for DRS also, the trouble just keeps on increasing more and more, as one of their players has been dropped down. 4MV jumping into the occasion against the players of Bad Intention as well. As DRS on our screens, Gyante is going to be able to give that revival to his teammate. But once that is done, they need to cover almost about 500 meters to get into the zone. So a tough situation that DRS is facing right now in this game. Along with that, in the feed that we can see, STE have also jumped in against the players of I8. Illuminate True have lost out on one of their players. There we can see Stalwart Esports' action. Perfectly positioned right here on top of the compound, was able to stop the rotating team of Illuminate True, which in turn has resulted in them losing out on one of their players, and that is going to be Viper 4 now. But look at the way the zone has played out right here. Towards the southern side, we can see 4MV with a very scattered approach. They're slowly moving into the occasion. As we saw earlier in the kill feed, Doc on the left-hand side, on the western side of the zone itself, was taking shots against the players of Bad Intention. That helped him out for now, but again, will that be enough is what we'll have to see. On the other side of the map, we've got Raw Officials being caught out in the blues, as they are going to have to leave out on Yeta Uta. The revival is not going to be provided right here. And SKYLIGHTZ Gaming on the side of the map, it seems, have been eliminated. The first team to get eliminated from this game.
And DE and DRS, they are still going up against each other. It looks like the numbers of DRS are not favoring the situation in this particular thing, as they are left with only 2 players. But Seal Becca is up for a close frontal battle with Valley from the side of Maptex Esports, and Valley goes down. At the same time, Leo OP goes down because of the play zone. But Maptex Esports, well, they have been eliminated. At Seal Esports eliminated the last man from their side, and this is not looking good for the players of Maptex Esports as well, because they have been eliminated after getting just one single point. But now we have the players of Stalwart Esports somewhere on the northern side, and looks like IC has a vague idea where Nova could be from the side of I8, and Nova is all by himself, but NB Esports Mondo finds a perfect knock onto the player of Seal, and looks like both the players of Seal Esports have been eliminated, and now Seal Esports also bids bye-bye at 14th spot. NB Esports, the aggression they are bringing is on point, 5 defeat points with no casualties at all, so they are looking strong, but they also have to move inside the circle and be careful of the players of Abrupt Slayers, because Abrupt Slayers, they do have a good position in this particular circle.
Indeed, and not only that, but STE as well. But on our screens, we've got TRZ. It is going to be Mamba taking shots against the players of DE, where True Love Sir has been dropped down, but Slayer being in the same compound and same building is going to be able to give that revival. But look at that in the feed. NB Esports' Sleek was not entirely sure what he was trying to do over there, but sadly ends up blowing himself up right there, and that is being utilized in favor of Raw officials right there. Where Yetauta, we were talking about it, I was bringing it up, where it seemed like they were caught out and might not be able to get a revival, but Yetauta was given a revival, and now he has provided a perfect point to his teammates as well, as the team of Raw officials are also sitting with a comfortable 4 defeat points, and all 4 players still standing towards the northern side is where they've made an entry into the zone right now. But the fight has just started. It has just begun. There are so many teams around in the vicinity that Raw officials are going to have to be very sneaky and careful about.
Well, certainly they have to be very careful, especially the players of Raw officials, as Claw has been taken down. Yes, Zordi is going for the rescue mission, but look at the position of NB Esports. Even they are not in the best of the spot right now. Abrupt Slayers, they do have a good compound to their name. We have the players of Bad Intention also in the nearby vicinity, but I don't see any chance of a third party happening in this situation. But Bad Intention, they have their own worries, because Sim is holding on to a little shag, and a grenade comes from the side of Apex, takes him down, and follow-up grenade will be the reason for his demise. Bad Intention, this is not looking good for them at all, as they already lost one player, and Shoycott comes out in the open, and 4ME Doc with that mini 14 is delivering hefty damage, and looks like Shoycott is surviving on a sliver of HP, but for how long can he survive? The rescue mission onto his fallen teammate that he's trying to provide right now could be the reason that he can be eliminated in this situation, and look like this is the thing that is exactly happening, as Bad Intention have been eliminated. Now we are left with only 11 teams and 38 players.
Indeed, in all of that, look at high voltage right there in cyan color on the top right hand side of our screens. We can see on the map they are towards the southern side of the zone and looking very, very comfortable. They've got nothing to worry about as of yet. But on our screens, also we've got DE against the players of TRZ, where DE, they're just holding on steady in the compound, but TRZ have made an entry. Steel shot with the UMP is going to slowly try and climb those stairs and maybe even make a break for it and get some points away from this. But it's not going to be an easy task. It is going to be, of course, 4v3 situation right here between these two, as we've got DEADEYES losing out on one of their players. On top, Servos lost to the cause earlier, and now Slayers has also gone down, so it's a 4v2 affair. But what a perfect entry right there from True Love, as he moves down and again mows down the players of TRZ. Mamba goes down, Degree has also been eliminated, Mad Cat and Steel Shot, the only 2 players surviving, and of course for now it's a little bit of a lull right here in this fight, because both of these players and teams are going to be, of course, trying to get the revival on their teammates and comrades, and that is where TRZ will have an upper hand, because DE, they had 2 of their players knocked down, whereas for TRZ it was only 1. But now it is a 2v2 situation in this building, because we can see Mad Cat, he's already too far away in a different compound altogether, and this nade from Mamba could very well be the decisive one, or perhaps not, because it was only a sliver of HP that Slayer Sir is surviving on, but it's still somehow keeping an edge, providing him with the perfect opportunity, and with that he's going to be able to spray down another player. Steel shot goes down. TRZ, what an incredible journey they've been on right here in this fight, where again they had the numbers advantage going in their favor, but DE, they stood true and tall for a very, very long time. Eventually, of course, they get eliminated. 9 teams remaining right here with 30 players in total, and T2K is just now getting started.
Well, certainly, because look at the amount of teams that are in close proximity to the players of TRC. We have the players of T2K, we have NZ also from the side of Stalwart Esports, we have the players of DRS as well. DRS, well, they have been eliminated, but still we have the biggest threat for the players of TRZ, that is T2K, because T2K, they are in the perfect spot to gatekeep the players of TRZ, And NZ, he can do a third party, in fact a perfect third party. But right now Stalwart Esports, they have their own worries, as I can see one team in purple that could be the plus of Raw Officials. Yes, it's Raw Officials in the close proximity, and looks like Action has taken a little bit of damage from the shots that were coming from the set of Raw Officials. But 4MV, well, they're also doing a third party from the backlines, and they have managed to take down not just 1-2 plus from the side of Raw Officials. And Stalwart Esports, looks like their numbers are also dwindling down.
Well, Raw Officials, what an incredible game this has been till now as well in this, because they've got 8 defeat points and they're still not deterred, and they're taking on the players of STE. The only trouble right now that Raw Officials are facing is, of course, that they got sandwiched. From one side it was STE, from the backlines it was 4MV, which all in all just resulted in them not being able to do much in that fight. But Raw Officials have still done miraculously well for themselves. With the 8 defeat points, it is looking like a good game for them as they get eliminated on the 8th spot. But now STE, again, from one fight to the next, they push on through, as now they've got TRZ's players in their crosshairs from the far away distance. It's going to be Tops with his, of course, Mini 14, and up front, up close is going to be Ners with quite a lot of damage that he's taken. No usables that he's got. Alright, well, he's got 1 first aid, but no throwables, that's for sure. And now, all by his lonesome, he's going to be taking shots against the two-man army of TRZ. As Mad Cat goes down, it's all boiling down between Ners and Mamba. Now, Ners does not have a throwable. That is something that could maybe trouble him, but it seems like Mamba is also not using any of the throwables, so maybe he's out as well. And this is where, of course, this 1v1 situation is not going in Ners' favor. The final first aid right now is being popped right there from STE's Ners. And once again, this could have been the moment that Mamba could have capitalized had he had a Molotov or nade. But that is not the case, as they get eliminated. From up top, it was Tobbs from STE. With his Mini 14 tap shots, going to be able to annihilate the players of TRZ. As now we're left with only 6 teams surviving.
And 21 players remaining, but the coordination between Nirzed and Tops in from the side of Stalwart Esports was phenomenal. Nirzed made sure the players of opponent team were pinned down in that situation, and from the backlines, Tops was delivering the perfect shots and taking down Mamba and his teammate in that particular situation. But now Stalwart Esports, 9 defeat points, they have to transition themselves in center of the circle. Along with that, we have the players of Abrupt Slayers also that can do a third party or can fire in the direction of Stalwart Esports in this situation, because that little dip area which the players of Stalwart Esports are trying to hold right now, they are susceptible to the grenades that might come in their direction.
That most certainly is true, but we'll have to see if at all any other team wants to take on this sort of stance against the players and a team like this. But for now, all the teams slowly but surely are making an entry into the zone itself. From the western sides, we saw 4MV make an entry. And right now, this is going to be troublesome for quite a lot of these teams. HIGHVOLTAGE, who've already been in that perfect position in the southern side of the zone, are finally being surrounded by another team, and that's going to be none other than Venom DE, as HIGHVOLTAGE take shots against the rotating team of ASL as well. 4MV stuck in that small little dip right there. A troubled team of 4MV right there, as we can clearly see a good nade, and that could be the end of 4MV, because from the backlines it's going to be ASL, but ASL themselves are getting slayed on upon, not only from HIGHVOLTAGE but now from STE as well. So Abrupt Slayers not having a good play right here, not having the opportunity to be able to make a good rotation right there. But in all of that fight between, of course, STE as well as HIGHVOLTAGE and ASL, 4MV have been given a sign of relief, as they can now get those numbers again all the way up back to 4. But now, to try and find an opening for 4MV to get away from that dip is not going to be an easy task as well. But in all, this could be anybody's game as of now, because again, STE, they've got a lot of information, they've got a lot of momentum with 9 defeat points that they've been able to confirm and accumulate till now. They're moving in with that force to be able to get this chicken in the bag, coming in from the northern side of the zone itself. But again, like I said, T2K are right here as well as HIGHVOLTAGE and STE. So tough conversion for any of these teams for this chicken dinner.
Krita from the side of DE, Venom is all by himself, and the way the players of T2K are in the close proximity, looks like Krita is up for a trouble. But the grenade that might come from the side of Krita could be the result could be the reason for the demise of Jane, because Jane is right now surviving on a very low HP. But now the circle has taken a bit of the concentric shift. Yes, T2K, they are still on the periphery. They do have the circle. They can gatekeep the plus of DE Venom right now from the backlines. Even High Voltage can also do a perfect third party in this situation. But DE Venom, well, perfect grenade comes and takes down Jane over there, who was already on a very low HP. Now we have the plus of High Voltage, who are trying to pin down the plus of Abrupt Slayers, at the same time trying to pick up a fight with a plus of 4MV. Well, 4MV, they have to transition themselves inside the circle. Only few seconds are remaining on the clock. I don't think there is going to be any team that is going to stop the plus of 4MV. They can use that little airdrop also for the cover in this particular situation. But right now Probeen and Rayleigh, they both are trying to lob grenades towards each other, and Probeen lobs it to perfection. At the same time, Rayleigh grenades takes down Probeen. Trades are coming back and forth from both the sides, and now this is the moment when they have to capitalize on the confirmation point. But rescue mission revival is at most priority right now.
Utmost priority definitely is coming in from the side of Venom DE, as they now trying to get that revival is just a little too late orders, and it seems likely to be the case because High Voltage themselves have pushed on the opportunity to be able to take down the players of Venom DE, but it seems like Kreta is going to deliver the final lead to the players as they get eliminated, but not before Kreta himself goes down from far away distance. He's been sprayed on upon as well. So a tough luck right here for High Voltage as well as Venom DE, as they lose out on all of their players pretty much, as T2K has pushed on right here. So Venom DE also get eliminated with 3 teams remaining right now. We've got 4MV with 10 defeat points confirmed for themselves. T2K moving in with an opportunity with all 4 players surviving, 5 defeat points to their name. And then we've got STE as well. And look at the way this love triangle has been created right here in the final moments of the stage 7. Where indeed it is going to be T2K Jane taking on shot, and a perfect knock it will be as Apex from 4MV goes down.
Well, certainly perfect Car 98 shot come in, and we have 2 Mongolian teams and a Nepal team, and in this particular final circle, which team is going to get this Miramar in their hands? The probability for the plus of T2K is definitely very high, as they can do a third party on the plus of 4MV and Stalwart Esports. But look like Stalwart Esports NRZ is going so very aggressive as he takes down Refuse, gets the instant confirmation as well. 4MV not looking good at all, with Doc still bleeding, leaving East all by himself, and the entire focus of 2 teams, Stalwart Esports and T2K, is towards East. So surviving at this point is not going to be so easy for East. Yes, the soft cover is there, the airdrop is there to provide him the little bit of the cover, but is that enough? On the other side, we have IC going up against the plus of T2K, trying to lob the perfect grenades, but he doesn't know exactly where the players are, so the perfect projectile is still missing.
Indeed, but what a perfect nade coming in from the other side from T2K as well, to the face of IC, as he tried to, of course, deliver that exact same punch to the players of T2K. Right now, it's going to be T2K who seem to be very much in control of this fight. As for STE, they are a little spread across and trying to understand where exactly are the players of T2K at. They've thrown so many nades, they've utilized all the throwables pretty much, and still not gotten a single knock. But in all of this commotion, it seems like 4MV's final player East has been given a sigh of relief, as he's going to be able to survive for just a little bit longer. Let's see though, will T2K Jane, as he's moving up and close right there, will he drop down? Will Jane go down against East, or will East be able to survive all by his lonesome? As of now, of course, Stalwart Esports themselves are trying to get the shots, and it seems like Jane will be the one who will be delivering the final nail in the coffin against the players of 4MV, as they get eliminated on the 3rd spot from this game. Now it all boils down to Stalwart Esports against T2K, a 3v4 affair between these 2 teams, where STE, Stalwart Esports, have been able to accumulate 11 defeat points. But look at this, T2K, the positioning from Suyog right here from the back angles, of course, the cover that he's created for himself as well as his teammates is going to be quintessential in just a few minutes. But right now, the opening that both these teams are looking for has not yet been provided.
But that opening Jane is trying to bring, as he's trying with those grenades to take down IC over there, but IC is still surviving, hiding in those little ridges, those little dips over there, and Jane is not overcommitting in this particular fight. Yes, the throwables are being used in this particular fight, but nothing is coming out of it. But Reg with that M416 takes down IC over there, and now things are not looking good for the players of Stalwart Esports, as the numbers are not in their favor. Now it's a 2v4 situation if they don't manage to get a revival onto IC. But the Molotov that came from the side of Jane could have been deadly, but Tops managed to take down Jane over there. So now T2K, well, one man from their side is also bleeding, and Sandesh knows exactly where Nizid is, trying to take him down, but not overexposing himself at the same time. Now, Stalwart Esports, they have a job to do. They have to go for the rescue mission onto the fallen teammate, but looks like that is not going to happen as Rig is carpet bombing towards the side of tops.
Indeed, and as he does so, now it is going to be a 2v1 affair between these two, as we've got, of course, Rick going down from T2K. Nares, along with his teammate Top, are just not yet deterred or done from this game as they push on their opportunity to get this chicken dinner in the bag. It is going to be, of course, STE who are playing, of course, the IQ game right here, where T2K, they thought they could subdivide the entire fight between themselves, but it has just not taken place. But now, the player Tops goes down, so it's all boiling down to Nares, a 2v1 affair between him and the final players of T2K, and he won't be able to do much because T2K is strafing across, moving all along with a spray, connecting the shot, going to be able to take the chicken dinner by themselves. An incredible conversion from the side of T2K, but nothing can be taken away from STE as well, because when it comes to the elimination, the defeat points, Stalwart Esports had quite a lot as well.
Well, certainly they had a lot of elimination point, but this game belonged to T2K. They missed it yesterday, but finally they get it on day number 2 in the very first game with 10 eliminations, 1849 damage, and total of 20 points. Now in the overall ranking, they're sitting on the 6th position.
And we are back, of course, right here at PMPL South Asia, where, of course, spring season continues on 4th. This is where first game is done on the map of Miramar, and it has gone in favor of T2K, where Stalwart Esports tried their level best to jump on and get that chicken dinner in the bag. Sadly, was just not allowed. They did not have the numbers in their favor, but T2K played it to perfection right there, and that in turn, I believe, has also provided you with another prediction going correct, right?
Well, certainly, second prediction came true for me. It could have been yesterday if you had allowed me to change my prediction, because T2K, they almost got
I
the
don't
chicken
choose
dinner in
my
that
production chooses. The producer chooses, the director chooses. I have nothing to do with it. I'm no host over here. I'm in the same boat as you are. With that, let's of course also talk about the MVP, the most valuable player. Well, again, based on our conversation, of course, the producer definitely is the MVP right now, as he does not let us choose the teams. But moving away from that towards the MVP of the game itself, we've got Tops right there with 5 eliminations, of course, 1099, almost 1100 damage. Let's call it 1100 damage right there coming in from his side. And of course, this player, Tops, we saw him time and time again as soon as we moved on to STE. He was the one who was taking care of those fights. And again, you pointed it out as well during the cast shadow, where he was, the synergy and the communication that was going on between Tops and, of course, his teammate was so on point to be able to, get the opponent team eliminated from the lobby.
Certainly, at the same time, for the players of T2K as well, the way they were not overcommitting, even in the final fight, they knew it's only one man standing from the side of Stalwart Esports, but still T2K players, they waited for the other teammate to come in, and that is when they charged in towards a single player, because T2K, they were playing very cautiously. Over aggression, over commitment was not showcased. That is the reason T2K, well, they are sitting on the top in the ranking also of this week, and this particular game also went in their pockets. But in the top players, along with Tops, we have Sandesh from the side of T2K, then we have Nirzet from Stalwart Esports, Apex from the side of 4MV with 4 eliminations of his own, and then we have East also from the side of 4MV with 2 eliminations but high damage number.
Indeed, and of course, in all of that, when it comes to the player who survived the least amount of time, that was 25 minutes right here, and still being a part of the top players, of course, we've got Apex 922 from 4MV with 480 damage, 4 eliminations in the 25 minutes that he was able to survive on the map of Miramar. So again, I mean, a valiant effort being showcased from STE, 4MV, as well as T2K, of course, as they got the chicken dinner. But apart from that, we also do need to talk about how Raw officials were able to accumulate such a big number, and that I'm sure is going to be helping them out as they get closer and closer to the top 12 in the overall ranking.
Well, certainly they are trying to climb up the ladder in the overall ranking, but this game definitely belonged to the players of Stalwart Esports and T2K. In the match ranking, T2K, they're sitting on the top with 20 points. But look at the elimination points coming from the side of Stalwart Esports. 13 elimination on the second spot, just 1 point short from T2K, 19 points to them. 4MV, well, finally a comeback story is being created from their side as well. Sitting on the third position with 15 points. Raw officials, high fragging game, 8 eliminations, just a single placement point. Not at all disappointed by the performance. 9 points to them. Raw officials are also looking very strong this week.
Indeed. Tough luck though for the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming right here. Not being able to accumulate any points. Same is the case for Bad Intention as well. Mabutex, we saw them take on shots, but sadly, while they were making a rotation, were just not able to convert that. Same is the case for DEADEYES guys as well as DRS also not having a good start to the day. A very difficult conversion for first game of day 2 right here in week 2. With that, let's move on ahead, talk about the overall ranking. T2K still leading the charge, of course, with 66 points that they've been able to accumulate and finally get one chicken dinner in the bag. But now that same conversation can be said about Stalwart Esports sitting on the second position without a chicken dinner with 53 points, and 4MV without a chicken dinner sitting on the fourth position. In fact, third and fourth position can very well be interchanged because they both, IHC as well as 4MV, have 41 points.
On the other side, Bad Intention, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming sitting on the bottom with 7 and 8 points respectively. TRZ, few good individual fights, but nothing big coming from their side as well, sitting on the bottom of the leaderboard. So definitely SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is one of the name I'm not expecting to see where they are in the ranking of this particular week. So SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are yet to spread their wings. Maybe in the next game. This game also, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they had a very good position. They had the entire control of the northern side, but the split that always comes from their side is the reason that individual players are picked up. First it was Seal Esports that tried to dish damage towards the side of Mafia Ninja. Then it was some other team. Player by players, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are picked off. So this is something SKYLIGHTZ Gaming needs to work on. That yes, you need to split up to get the information, but you also need to regroup as soon as possible after you get your resources done.
Absolutely, and that is something that I'm sure SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are going to be able to implement, because we've seen them actually, get that exact same gameplay like you mentioned played out from their side as well. But for now, again, it is not a good start and definitely not the way that they, of course, hoped for. With that, now as we move on ahead, it is time to start predicting once again, because now, actually, since today is the day of Miramars, we know that the second game is going to be played on Sanhok. So, small, quick map. Where do you think are we going to be drawing the line between teams? Because Group A, B, C, and E jumps in. And that means High Voltage, Mabutex Esports, Seal Esports, and Raw Esports are not going to be participating in this Sanhok game.
Well, definitely. And my prediction for this particular one, I want to pick Elementrix because yesterday they missed it on the map of Sanhok. But never mind. I'll go with DRS Gaming this time.
All right, the real soldiers. There we have it coming in from your side for your prediction, Shadow. And from my end, I'm going to be working towards ASL. I wonder what exactly are Abrupt Slayers going to be up to on the map of Sanhok. A tough conversion for ASL. Most certainly not an easy one for them to be able to achieve. But at the same point in time, I've got high hopes today. So that's where I'm going to be going with. It's for the second game of the day.
Well, certainly this time Group D is sitting out. After that, we have one more Miramar coming in where Group C will be sitting out. Then we have one more Erangel. Then we are going to end things with Miramar where Group A will be sitting out. But now is the time for the quick map, the fast-paced map of Sanhok, where teams can do rank up on the elimination points, because the entire point structure this time is focusing on the elimination points. So Sanhok, it becomes very crucial.
Oh, it definitely is the most important game, important map as well. But also, I'm sure a lot of these players won't like Sanhok because of the way Sanhok ends up being, I mean, now in week 2, as we progressed on and ahead, we've seen teams actually slow down the pace of the game as well, even on the map of Sanhok. And then finally, in the stage 3 is where we see them locking arms and, of course, going against each other. And then it becomes a complete chaos, because then we've got third parties and fourth parties taking place, where indeed all of that hopefully should not be the case today as well. Hopefully we've got individual fights taking place, one at Paradise Resort, another one at Paina, another one at Takmao. But we know that whenever the fights start, it is going to be chaos ensuing through and through. But for that, again, I am ready. Let's just jump into the flight path. Let's have a look at where the flight path is going to be taking us through, and where exactly is the zone going to be. Shadow has been mentioning about Camp Alpha zone, if I'm not mistaken, for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Let's see, maybe today we might just be able to see one.
Well, I would love to see a camp Pilfer circle because the rotations that come in from the ruins area, from the Hathin area, it becomes so chaotic for the teams as well. But this time, talking about the flight path, we see flight path going from the side of Sami towards Mongoy. But since it's a small map, you can easily glide over to your favorite drop location. So the entire conversation is going to be around where the first circle is going to be. But since you mentioned Paradise Resort, also blotted, I just want to see again, are we going to see a drop location clash between the players of I8 and NB Esports? Because every single time when they are in Sanhok, they go to Paradise Resort and they go up against each other, where one team do end up losing the game at the very initial stage. The other team also face some casualties. Either way, it's not working for them. So let's find out. And looks like I8 and NB Esports, they both are again going in Paradise Resort.
Well, again, I mean, they're gonna have to iron out the possibility of who gets to be the king of Paradise Resort. And till the time, no one single team is clearly able to dictate that sort of a question and answer sort of at Paradise Resort. They are gonna keep on doing that. And again, I mean, that's the best part for us because as soon as you jump onto the map, you've got something to talk about. You've got a fight to actually showcase, and that is where I'm sure we should be jumping into in just a minute or two, because with that, look at the zone. The zone is actually keeping Paradise Resort right around in the center as well, pretty much. T2K loving the positioning coming in from their side, but there we have it. I8 with a two-man split. Illuminate True against the four-man army of NB Esports. And it seems like NB Esports have decided to this time around not participate in that chaotic fight. They've gotten their loot, as we can see. They've gotten decent amount of loot, actually not bad, and have fallen back away from Paradise Resort. That was a quick looting session right there coming in from the side of NB Esports. And of course, Illuminate True are going to be none the wiser as they were on the other side of Paradise Resort. They had two-man split going on from their side. And they were just patiently waiting. If at all, NB Sports are going to be, of course, coming towards the crosshair setup coming from the side of I8. But for now, it seems like both these teams are going to be moving away. Wow, okay. What are the chances of that? It seems Illuminate as well as NB Esports, both of them have decided to walk out of Paradise Resort for now. So no early contestation that I anticipated to be able to see will be showcased over there.
Well, certainly on the other side, T2K Jane. Well, NB Esports, yes, the plan was perfect to grab a quick loot, go for the secondary loot on the smaller compounds, not engage in a fight with the plus of I8, but then failed to read the position of T2K Esports, because T2K every single time they go towards the northeastern side of Paradise Resort in a split position, and that is where Jane capitalized and took down one player from the side of NBES. But looks like NBES, they are also retaliating as Jane has been knocked down, and quick confirmation is also coming in. So that means now T2K, they are in the back foot situation as compared to NB Esports. Sek can be revived in the situation as the remaining claws of T2K are way too far away. So the rescue mission is going to be so easy, and now Sek, he just needs to patch himself up as soon as possible.
Indeed. So perfect conversion right there in that fight, at least for NB Sports, as they did get a defeat point and were, of course, able to eliminate their opponent in front of them. Right now, of course, as we move on ahead towards another side, we've got Illuminate's Sky bringing in a Molotov against the rock, from which, of course, Sleepy is hiding. But that could be a lot of detrimental positioning right there. No, never mind. It's a smoke. It's a smoke being thrown from the side of Sky. Interesting turn of events right there. Not entirely sure why he decided to do that, but a flank angle has been utilized from Illuminate Crew's Wolfes, and ASL Sleepy goes down. ASL Sleepy, well, he goes down, but where are the other players? And there we can see the kill feed. We've got Gangster jumping into action as well as he brings down Illuminate Crew's players. But it seems like revival to Sleepy is going to be very, very tough. As we can see, Chari on the other side of the map itself, or rather other side of the road itself, of the mountain, is trying to get that cover fire taken care of, and in turn is going to be able to get a defeat point also confirmed for himself. So perhaps there is still a chance for ASL to be able to get Sleepy revived and also eliminate Illuminate Crew. But will that be the case or not? Let's find out.
perfect angles. The angles which the players of Abrupt Slayers are holding on to perfection. But looks like Venom, they are going to do a third party in the situation as they takes down one more player from the side of Abrupt Slayers, and Sleepy and Vishal are on the verge of elimination. And Abrupt Slayers, now they are left with only two players. A quick revival coming in for Sleepy, but Vishal couldn't be saved in the situation. But IH, they have their own worries as Stalwart Esports Z with the shotgun has pushed onto Nova, and Nova has been eliminated. Now IH, their numbers are not in their favor, and look at the position of Whoopies. Both the players of Abrupt Slayers walked right into his crosses, and he capitalized and took down two players from the side of Abrupt Slayers. Quick elimination also coming in, and Abrupt Slayers, now Gangsta is the only man from their side. Not looking good at all for the players of Abrupt Slayers. Yes, initially they were holding the perfect angles, but it's a knock. A third party, a fourth party is so very common in this particular map, and it's never a good idea to stay out in the open. Now Stalwart Esports, they capitalized. Two teams were fighting against each other, and it is Stalwart Esports that got the maximum benefit out of it.
Indeed, I mean that is definitely the perfect way to actually, illustrate this fight because first things first, ASL. What were you doing out in the open? All right, you're out in the open. You're not able to get a compound. You've got a team that you've already scoped out. You've got a perfect flank angle created, but still, another thing that of course ASL did not factor in was the fact that they can very well be third party upon as well, and that's exactly what took place right here. And being so scattered and spread across, so many points going against the players of ASL in that fight. But overall, again, when it comes to the numbers, it has dwindled down to just a one-man army now for Abrupt Slayers. Same is the case for Illuminate True as well, as both those teams have taken quite a lot of damage in this in the first few minutes of the game itself. We're still not yet done with stage one, and in all of this, look at the ease with which Stalwart Esports are roaming around, getting all the information, trying to, of course, scope out any other opponent if they can. Before now, they haven't come across any. Alongside that, we've got the first airdrop with the Yogg and a level 3 kit. There are in fact two teams. We've got SKYLIGHTZ Gaming and we've got Venom DE, who are right around to be able to participate in that airdrop Groza. But we'll see if they do so or not. Seems like latter will be the case, as SKYLIGHTZ Gaming will jump on to take on that opportunity. But from the rear, we've got Venom DE holding on that angle, and there we have it. Domi just capitalizing. No Fear is not going to be allowed to take on that loot by himself, as Domi pushes on and sprays upon the player, and thus in turn, it is going to be a tough situation.
Well, certainly it's going to be very tough for the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Last game of Miramar didn't go in their favor. This time also, No Fear was caught out in the open. Yes, he went for the airdrop without scouting the area properly. That was a mistake that came from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and now they pay the price by losing No Fear in the situation. Now, DE Venom, they do have one defeat point in their favor, but at the same time, they have to be a bit careful because the players of Leo Esports are also in the close proximity. They have the players of 4MB as well, but a team that is still in the boot camp area and taking the damage of the blue, or will take the damage of the blue in few seconds, is the players of Sitim. So they need to be a bit careful. Northern side, we have the players of IHC having a good position, and DE Venom are going up against the players of Leo Esports, and looks like Leo Esports one player has been picked off, and Domi can get an easy confirmation onto him, but looks like to save the teammates of Leo Esports, players with a buggy is closing in the distance just to be taken out by Domi. Now Domi has two bleeding players from the side of Leo Esports. Instant confirmation coming in, but look at the position of Haidami. He has his own troubles as he is in the compounds of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. A 1v3 situation for him, or maybe a 2v3 situation for him if his teammate comes by.
Absolutely, that could be how it could be played out. But let's see. Now we have, of course, Smokey along with the Haidami. The two players from Leo Esports have jumped into this fight, but for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they're being very, very quiet. Nima and AJ, they're not letting know of their positioning whatsoever at all. That in turn allows Leo Esports' Haidami to be able to get out of the compound that he was in and then reset up for this fight. And the flank angle that is created right here is perfect to be able to get the information. But he also needs to be careful that after all, you are on the map of Sanhok, And T2K up on top, we can see, can bring in a very good third party in this fight against Leo Esports and SG as well. So tricky conversion right here for Leo Esports. It's a 3v2 between these two teams. But look at the crazy distance between Mr. Smokey and Haddami. They both want to be, of course, like a SWAT team. Just rushing and pushing SG from both the directions so as to sandwich them. But then that would also imply that Haddami as well as Mr. Smokey are going to have to be on point when it comes to those sprays. The skill, this is a skill-based fight right now. But SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they're doing absolutely nothing. They're just holding on steady. They're trying to get information, but they have none.
Leo Esports, things are not looking good for them. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, things are not looking good either for them because they lost no fear. Yes, it's a 2v3 situation by SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. They do have the numbers advantage, but in the mini-map, I can see the plus of Venom also in the close proximity, so a third-party situation is definitely brewing up, and both these teams need to be a bit careful, especially Mr. Smokey, because of the grenades that are coming from the side of Nima and AJ. Yes, both these teams are trying to get a knock or an opening without overcommitting by getting a knock onto each other by those grenades or molotovs, but in the close proximity we have the plus of T2K as well, and we know for sure T2K, well, they are running high on their horses. They are the most confident team, and if they hear the gunshots, if they get to know that there is something happening in that very compound, from that height advantage, T2K will certainly do a third party. But looking at the Circle, Stalwart Esports, Blotter, they do have a good position, but if Circle goes a bit towards southern side, then 4MV have a good compound to their name.
Indeed, 4MV are looking very, very comfortable right there. But with that, we've got ASL's Gangster, the final player, bringing in a little bit more of an opening right here in terms of the defeat points for himself and his team before he gets eliminated right now, though, as Astra from Elementrix is going to be the one who will put a nail in the coffin, and ASL will become the first team to get eliminated right now from this game. Abrupt Slayers, a team I predicted and hoped would do good, have done bad and gotten first to be eliminated right here. But never mind that, as we were talking about it. From the north, we've got STE looking very comfortable in terms of their positioning. T2K, they need to make a rotation as well to get into the zone. But to get into the zone, they need to be able to take on fights. And for now, we can see that they themselves have bad intentions, keeping their crosshairs against the players of T2K. And now we've got Deadeye's compound being sprayed upon from the side of IHC, as IHC's dem over the UMP in his hand going to be easily able to slay Slayer from DE.
And IHC Alex with the Molotov is looking for an opening or a knock onto Precious Sir, and looks like Precious Sir has definitely taken some damage, and Alex has been taken out. He was out there in the open, and the way Deadeye guys are holding on to different angles, that became the reason for the demise of Alex in this situation. Zoel is still bleeding out. That means Demo is the only man standing from the side of IHC, and it is not looking good at all for him. Yes, smokes are being deployed to get the necessary soft cover required. At the same time, the blue is also catching up, and True Love Sir and Precious Sir, well, they're trying to find the last man, and looks like with that vehicle he's going to make a quick escape from the situation. Very mature decision that came from the side of now, like you mentioned, in the blue are trying against the plus of bad intention and getting the confirmation. The fallen players of bad intention. Now, bad intention, they do have the advantage. Sandesh taking the damage of the blue. At the same time, Molotovs are coming from the side of Mehdi, and this could have been deadly, but Sandesh has repositioned himself. He has to come out in the open. There is no second chance that he can survive in the blue for a very long time, because hey, you have to move inside the circle, otherwise Prison will take you down.
Indeed, and that could very well be the case right there for that player of T2K. But will bad intention allow that? It seems like Sandesh is going to be jumping outside, and with that, what a perfect spray coming in from his side, as he's going to be able to spray down his opponent. And not only him, but also Alpha, bad intention's teammates, they are going down, as Alpha goes down, along with, of course, Shoykot and Sim. Now it all boils down to, of course, Mehed as to what exactly is he going to be able to do. But from the backlines, it seems like T2K Rig with the DBS in his hand is going to be pushing on the luck. And Bad Intentions' luck has been destroyed once again, as they get eliminated on the 14th position, 14th rank right there, with only one defeat point. 13 teams remaining right now. IHC were left with just a one-man army. Same is the case for DEADEYES guys as well. And now we go back to the fight that we were a part of earlier as Leo Esports. They've lost out on Mr. Smokey. They were just a two-man squad. Haidami, all by his lonesome, have been able to take on those shots and sprays against the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Nemo was dropped down. Nofia has been eliminated earlier itself. So 2v1 situation right now against the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. But that perfect cover coming in from the side of course, Leo Esports' player is not going to be able to do much because two individual angles were being covered over from SKYLIGHTZ Gaming player Mafia Ninja and AJ. And just like that, they are going to be able to get 2 defeat points. But now it is time for them to move out as well. As we can see in the minimap, the Blues have caught up to them. They are still a 3-man strong army. So SKYLIGHTZ Gaming still has a lot to prove and a lot that they can do as well. But T2K, sadly, they've lost out on all of their players. Reg, the final player surviving right now.
Well, certainly Venom, they picked off Sandesh, leaving Reg all by himself. Now Reg has to be very careful. Yes, he's on the periphery of the circle. He better hold on to his position until the circle goes away from him. On the other side, we have the players of Stalwart Esports picking up the players of Sitim, and looks like Dobu has been eliminated, and Venom this time they're looking so very confident. 4 elimination points just by Domi, total 5 defeat points. Are looking so very aggressive, and looks like Demo showed up on the compound of Rig, and Rig eliminated him. That means IHC Esports bids bye-bye at 12th spot with 3 elimination points, and Stalwart Esports, they're still picking up the players of Sitim Esports, and Sitim has been eliminated. Now we are left with only 10 teams, 29 players remaining. Stalwart Esports, they have to move inside the circle. NB Esports still taking the damage of the blue, but Mondo from the blue takes down 1 player from the side of Stalwart.
Indeed, and Stalwart Esports IC has been caught out as well as Mondo from the Blues is bringing on a lot of damage and destruction and mayhem against the players of Stalwart Esports as STE are left with action right now. IC was dropped down. NB Esports also participate, of course, as they from the Blues have been able to take on the fight to the face of the devil. That is going to be STE right now as Ners also goes down. Mondo is on fire from the Blues right now with just level 1 helmet and a level 1 vest. He has delivered some crazy slaps right now to the players of STE as just a minute ago STE were looking very comfortable with the 4 players surviving. Now they've been dropped down to just a 1-man army. We've got 4 teams in this lobby sitting with just a 1-man army, and that gives the advantage towards a team like 4MV, towards a team like DRS, maybe even Venom DE, because they are the ones who have all 4 players still surviving.
Well, they do have the numbers advantage, 3 teams, but Mad Cat needs to be a bit cautious in this situation. And same goes for the players of DRS, because DRS, well, they have no idea where exactly Mad Cat is. And Mad Cat is a bit out in the open. I'm not so sure if he's in a good position right now. Can have a cheeky angle, but still, it's Sanhok. You can't afford to be in the open for a very long time. TRZ, they don't have the numbers advantage, only 3 players remaining, no defeat point as of now. But Venom, well, looks like they might go up against the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. SKYLIGHTZ, they are way too spread out, and Venom, they do have a certain height advantage. Look at the position of Rayleigh in this situation. His position is so very crucial. He can take down Mafia Ninja, and he certainly takes him down. Now SKYLIGHTZ Gaming remains with only 2 men. And looks like AJ is also going down by the DBS shots that are coming from Ferhat. Now SKYLIGHTZ, well, they remain with only 1 man, Nima, not for a very long, as he's also down. Now SKYLIGHTZ Gaming has been eliminated at the 8th spot. 7 teams, 18 players remaining. 4MV with the numbers advantage.
Indeed, 4MV coming in from the western side of the zone, looking comfortable as of now. They've only made 2 defeat points as of yet. So they've been very slow in terms of how they want to be playing this Sanhok game. And this is something that we were talking about in the pre-game segment as well, that the teams have decided to take it slow even on the map like Sanhok, where a team like 4MV have just gotten 2 defeat points, and that too just confirming 1 right now itself. But never mind that. It's all about surviving till the end and getting that chicken dinner, for which, of course, Venom DE are looking very, very good because they've got 11 defeat points. As we talk about that, Stalwart Esports get eliminated as well, leaving us with only 6 teams in this lobby. DRS finally jump into action as Rules OG has been able to position himself in such a perfect position, such a perfect angle where he's been able to take down and, of course, look and get the information against the team of Venom DE. Now, Venom DE, they are in a, well, they were in a decent position, or rather, I thought their position has not even been compromised as of yet. but it seems DRS Rules OG found the perfect angle right here that we can see. Once again, Venom DE have absolutely no idea where they're getting sprayed on upon, and on the other side of the map altogether itself, we've got DRS taking shots against the players of 4MV, and 4MV's numbers are dropping down. They've been dropped down to a 3-man squad thanks to DRS's approach.
Well, certainly. Now we are left with only 5 teams, 14 players remaining. DRS also, they do have the numbers, all the 4 players alive, like you mentioned, Blotter, but not too many elimination points. This is the perfect way DRS plays Sanhok. Sanhok has been the strongest map. They have already gotten 1 chicken dinner for themselves in the very first week in the map of Sanhok. They can do it again, but right now, Venom Krita picks off East from the side of 4MV. Now 4MV, they have to go for the rescue mission, but it's not going to be so easy because look at the position of East. A smoke wall could be made to save East in this situation, but let's find out if that's going to happen. The teammates are trying to save him. On the other side, Venom, they're keeping all the angles checked. TRZ, they also can be the critical one in this particular one because DRS, they have no idea about their position, but Rita takes from multiple players from the side of 4MV, and looks like 4MV are standing with only 1 man that is going to be refused, who is going for the rescue mission, but DE Precious Sir is going to take down Kurita, and instant confirmation is also coming in, so that means trades are coming back and forth. Third parties are also happening, and DRS, well, they are also doing a third party onto the plus of 4MV as Delta takes down 1.
Indeed, as he does so, right now we've got DRS with all 4 players, the only team with all 4 players surviving and standing with the momentum still, the momentum not going in their favor per se, because they are not yet in the zone. And we can see clearly in front of them, they've got teams that can very well gatekeep the positioning of DRS, but right now, DRS themselves have their crosses set up in between 4MV, as well as, of course, up top on this ridge right here that we can see. Now, DRS have been able to get close to the ridge. It seems like they might just be able to get an entry into the zone as well. As 4MV, they were sprayed on upon miserably, and that in turn has resulted in them being left out with just refuse right now. East is down. 4MV need to get a revival, but that's not possible right there, as he has been spotted, and KILLIGHVOLTAGE will bring him down as well. So refuse, the final player, he thinks he's going to be snail his way out of that area, but most certainly not going to be allowed, as DRS stood around in that blues to be able to take down that player. And now the opening that DRS are pushing on along with TRZ have absolutely no idea, and TRZ, the momentum has also not been in their favor as of yet, as they have not accumulated decent amount of defeat points for them as well. So now numbers going in favor of DRS, and DRS just like that, 1 final player remaining, that's going to be Steelshot. Steelshot has been able to bring down 1 player, that's going to be Delta from Sanhok, make that 2 as KILLIGHVOLTAGE also goes down. But once again, the biggest factor in that fight was the numbers going in favor of DRS, and that in turn has resulted in the real soldiers walking away with an incredible winner chicken dinner.
Well, certainly DRS, whenever it comes to Sanhok, DRS, they have a very strong foot in this particular map, and the way they play Sanhok is also so very impressive. This time they have 6 elimination, total 731 damage that they were dishing out, total of 16 points, and in the overall ranking, they are sitting on the 3rd spot.
Is here.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Hello and welcome once again right here at PMPL SA, where of course the journey continues on in week number 2. 2 games are already done. This is day 2 and the journey, like I said, continues on because we've still got 3 more games left that are going to be played today. We just got done with Sanhok, an incredible conversion being showcased from the side of the real soldiers, and with that, of course, they have clearly showcased that it's not always about, moving in with the momentum, because Stalwart were moving in with the momentum, but they were not able to get that chicken dinner because it was DRS with that strategic play that they had already pre-planned, I guess, is what I can say right there, and eventually got the game. And with that, of course, the lead that they're going to be able to get in the overall ranking is something that we will discuss right after we have a look at the MVP as well. Shadow, where do you think, what player, or not what player, what team do you believe should be in the MVP list right now?
I don't think there is going to be someone from the side of DRS because only 6 elimination. They were not the aggressive force in this particular one. Maybe someone from the side of Stalwart Esports could be the MVP.
Maybe.
But what do you think?
That could actually be. That's what I'm thinking as well. Because Stalwart Esports, the momentum that they were moving in with was looking really good. I loved Venom DE's approach to the game as well, for sure. But when it comes to the MVP, that's not all that they're looking at, right? They don't look at the highest defeat points, but also how long they were able to survive, and that in turn takes us to Venom DE. Domi right there with 5 eliminations, of course, 1015 damage that he was able to dish out with only 12 healing done.
Well, certainly the healings are not too many because he was only picking up good fights. He was always in the cover, not out there in the open, taking unnecessary risk and undue fights that were not required in the game. But Venom DE, yes, definitely they are slowly picking up the pace for themselves. But on the other side, Abrupt Slayers, bad game from their side as well. Again, 2 back-to-back bad games.
True. Again, it seems like what we saw from them in week 1 is exactly what they've done in week 2 as well, at least till now.
Yeah.
And as we continue on with the 3 games remaining, maybe that might just change. But for now, let's talk about the top players from this game, as we've got Venom's players, of course, right here. Domi, of course, with the relay being the first and the second of the lot. And then comes in Sandesh from T2K with 3 eliminations in just 14 minutes of survival time. He was able to dish out 685 damage.
And we have Mondo from the side of NB Esports this time. This guy was also playing really good from the blue. I think NB Esports Mondo was picking up the players of Stalwart Esports. So kudos to him, the way he was dishing out damage and taking down the players. Good assist from his side. But in the match summary, it's all about Venom DE. In the highest elimination, highest damage, Domi is the guy. Then we have highest healings done from the side of Precious Sir of DE. Well, DEADEYES, they were in the blue. They were picking so many fights. This is the reason that we see a very high number of the healings done. But in the match ranking, we have Venom DE on the top with 19 points.
Absolutely, as we do have them on the top of there, with of course 14 eliminations that they were able to accumulate for themselves. Moving away from there, we've got DRS Gaming, who did get a chicken dinner, but sadly will not be able to, of course, overcome Venom DE's position right there. But moving on down south from that, we've got TRZ on the 3rd spot. Going further away, then we've got DEADEYES guys right there on the 8th position with 2 eliminations and 3 placement points. But all of that can be chucked out the bag, because right now, sitting on the 16th position from this game is Leo Esports. Bad intentions. Once again, the consistent faltered gameplay that we're looking at, bad intentions, it is not looking good for them at all, whatsoever at all. And that in turn is definitely going to be adversely affecting their position in the overall ranking, which it already has, but also the possibility of them being able to play the B+C+D, the bonus map that will be played on day number 5.
Well, certainly the bonus match is going to help the teams, but how do you play the bonus match? By being in the top 12. And how do you come in top 12? By being consistent. So consistency is the key. It doesn't matter how much the point structure change. If you're consistent in terms of the balance between the placement points and the elimination points and consistent throughout the week, you're definitely going to be in the grand finals, because yes, B+C+D match is crucial, the bonus points are crucial, but consistency matters the most, which is not coming from so many teams like the players of Abrupt Slayers, Steel Esports, NB Esports also. True. Yes, they do shine in few games, but the consistency is not from their side.
It's missing. That is most certainly true, and that's something that's missing is, of course, not going to be able to help them. That's for sure, right? As the journey continues on in the league itself, we want the teams to be able to progress up and not go back down, and that is something that we're looking at in week 2. But again, it's all up in the air. It is all very speculative as of now because we do see a little bit of resilience being showcased from the teams that were doing really well, are not doing so good in week 2, are showcasing a little bit of resilience. I mean, we've seen IHC do exactly that. We've seen the players of Seal Esports bring that sort of a playstyle for themselves as well. But that consistent, the word being consistent, is just not being provided to them, and that in turn is causing them to just move up and down in terms of the overall ranking. But never mind, we're done with 2 games. 3 more games remain. Today is the day of Miramar, which means once again, for game number 3, we're going to be jumping on to the map of Miramar, where if we were to confirm, we've got Group A, B, D, and E that are going to be playing. So Group C will not be participating. That means DRS Gaming, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, NB Esports, and Illuminate Group.
Well, certainly, but in this particular one, the zone itself gave a bit trouble to the teams that dropped towards the side of Camp Alpha Island or towards the southern side. But kudos to DRS Gaming, because DRS, they dropped all the way towards the side of Shami. They had to go for too many rotations, but despite that, DRS showcased good rotations without losing any player, without engaging in unnecessary fight. On the other side, we have the players of NB Esports and Stalwart Esports. This is the moment where I was talking about when Mondo from the blue was taking down the players of Stalwart Esports. But 4MB, talking about this particular team, they tried to deliver good performance in this one, but it was not so good. It was not something that can meet our expectations that we have from the side of 4MB.
Indeed, and that is something that I'm sure 4MV are going to try and revive themselves from, because after all, this is kind of like, we're reaching the start mid phase of week 2 itself. This is day number 2, and we're only left with 3 games. And with that, of course, few of these teams are only left with 2 games that are going to be played out for them. So that means that, of course, if today they're not able to convert good points for themselves, then automatically the next upcoming 3 days, it is going to get that much more treacherous for them. But with that, it is time. All right, you're having a really good day today, Shadow. So how about you go first on the map of Miramar, where we know Group C is not going to be participating. What team would you predict walking away with the chicken dinner this time around?
I think Stalwart Esports, they should get this particular one, because last Miramar they missed it, and Stalwart Esports, they are having a good run. So all they need is a chicken dinner. So I think this Miramar should belong to the players of Stalwart Esports.
All right, STE coming in from your side, and from my side, I would love to see what exactly is this team that were doing so fantabulously well for themselves. A team called High Voltage. What are they going to be doing in this upcoming game? Because High Voltage have been missing from the action for quite some time now. And when it comes to the map of Miramar itself, that's going to be played on upon right now, where DRS Gaming, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and B Esports and Illuminate Crew will not participate. That is, teams from Group C will not be playing. I wonder what High Voltage does. But nevertheless, I mean, we will find out what the case is going to be. In fact, I mean, there's T2K as well, who've been doing really well. There's TRZ as well, who've been right around the corner. Seal Esports go up and down in terms of their performance. IHC Esports, I have no idea what they're going to be doing. So yeah, all right.
Venom DE.
this is tough decision right now. But yeah, I think rather than choosing a team like High Voltage, who I've seen them missing from the action completely, I think I would rather change it to a team like IHC Esports. It's an equal sort of a gamble coming in from both of their sides on this map. But IHC Esports is what my pick is going to be, my prediction is going to be. Hopefully, this time around, Godless and the likes are able to, stand true and tall against their opponents and get the chicken in the bag, though easier said than done. Because so many times in the fights that we've seen from them in week 2, specifically for IHC, they're a little lackluster. They're a little scattered in terms of that approach, which is something that is not what IHC is known for. Yesterday, they had a really good game. But again, that consistency, the word that we keep bringing up again and again, that is something that's missing from their gameplay. And if that thing is missing, then automatically it becomes so very difficult for you to predict a team like that to walk away with the chicken dinner.
Well, certainly. But talking about the flight path of this Miramar, it is going from the southern side of Landriela towards El Hizar. So that means it is bisecting the map in 60-40 half. Yes, heading towards the side of La Cobreria is not going to be so easy, but majority of the teams are going to be pretty happy with this particular flight path, as all the major cities are approachable. But like you were mentioning IHC, I think it's a very good pick because in the last Erangel yesterday, in the very last game, IHC did showcase a very good performance. The
True.
godless, the MVP, Salter from the side of IHC, godless, we keep talking about, he was back in the action. So yes, high hopes from this particular team as well, IHC. So I think a good pick. If not Stalwart, I was also thinking about IHC.
See, but the trouble with IHC is sometimes, I mean, some games they go really flawless and just go absolutely ham against the entire lobby, and then certain games, uh, it just completely falters down. The entire team of IHC is just completely roaming about with absolutely no idea what they're up to. And that is something that again and again I've noticed the players of IHC do. But again, we will find out what is going to be the playstyle today, as we've got Zeol, Godless, Demo, and Alex, the four lads from IHC, to be able to do something out of the extraordinary. Well, out of the ordinary, actually, to do something extraordinary in the game to be able to get a chicken dinner. But never mind that, because that's all speculative as of now, as we've got the perfect zone being created right now. Stage 1 zone is going to be absolutely easy peasy for all of these teams, because it is pretty much allowing majority of the teams to be a part of the zone. The only ones who are a little scattered and lackluster right now are these two teams, Mabitex Esports and DEADEYES, guys. The only two teams, they are a little further out away from the zone, but apart from that, all the other teams are looking very comfortable. But that would also mean so many colors around in the same proximity within the first stage itself. We are going to be looking at a pretty quick Miramar, perhaps. At least there should be some really good fights showcased, as so majority of the teams are in the zone. But the southern side of the zone itself, it is all out in the open for anybody to try and capitalize upon. 4MV for now are towards the southern side, kind of towards the southern side. But apart from that, this is looking absolutely perfect for these teams. ASL being in the center, high voltage looking in the center as well. Okay, tough game. Let's see where the first blood is going to be drawn. Shadow.
Well, certainly, but this time there are chances of so many initial fights that can be happening. El Pozo, we have two teams in that particular city. On the northern side, we have the players of Maptex Esports in their usual drop spot, that is Torre Emuda, but in a split situation. Then we have the players of DEADEYES also in the close proximity in a 2v2 split. DEADEYES better be careful because of Maptex. All the 4 plus rush towards the 2 plus of DE. Well, it won't look good for the players of DE right now. But talking about this particular team, Raw officials, they're having a very good run, Blotter. Instead, if we compare the performance of Raw officials on the first 2 days of the tournament as compared to now, I think Raw officials have improved a lot in terms of the aggression, in terms of the initial fights. They bring in the even the 4v4 fights that come from the side of Raw officials, because initially they were struggling, they were on the bottom, but this team, they picked themselves up, and now I think by the end of week number 2, if the improvement graph keeps going up, Raw officials can be the most aggressive team in the lobby.
They most certainly can be. I mean, you pointed it out perfectly, right? You compare this team's play style from what they were in week 1 to what they are right now. It is a completely different set of team and players that we're looking at coming in from the side of Raw officials. And again, I mean, getting a high fragging game like what they did in the previous one as well. Kudos to them, a valiant effort being showcased, but that needs to keep on continuing on through and throughout the entirety of week 2. In fact, is what I'm going to say, for them to be able to call it a decent week 2 so that they can rise up. Right now, I think they were sitting on the 14th, 13th position, something like that, based on what they got in the overall ranking. But I would love to see a lot more from them, this sort of a playstyle from them. That moved away from Raw officials, we've got High Voltage to talk about, a team that I really did want to pick, because this team has kind of been missing from the action. And right now, based on the zone that this team is playing with, they are pretty much in the center. They've got a really good control of the zone as well. But same can be the case for IHC or not? Well, we will find out, because I completely missed and did not check where IHC are at.
I think they dropped towards the western periphery, somewhere towards the side of Latrelia. And so many teams are in the close proximity. We have the players of Raw officials, Rio Esports, then we have the players of Bad Intention. So IHC also needs to be a bit careful. Oh, they are in Montenegro.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
noticed exactly. Montenegro is where they're at. So again, like you perfectly mentioned, right? It's the northwestern side. For now, they'll be comfortable based on where the zone is at. But also considering the fact that majority are in the zone itself, And another 2.5, 3 minutes, we are going to be looking at the end of stage 1 and an entry into stage 2. I wonder what's going to go down. Also, another team that I do want to bring up is going to be Sitim Esports, a team that loves to go towards Los Leones from what we've seen earlier. Where has this team gone missing as well? Again, week 1, day 1, NB Esports, Sitim Esports, these were the teams Leo Esports, these were the teams who were really looking flawless in terms of their execution and performance of every single map and gameplay. But then as the weeks continued on forth, all of that performance seems to have gone down the drain. Not entirely sure what the reason for that change is, for that dip in terms of performance is. But hey, that's what the battleground does to you. You win some, you lose some. And that's exactly what can be said for those teams. But again, right now, as we are part of day 2 of week 2, this is match number 3 of the day. T2K leading the charge. I mean, talk about this team of T2K. Jane, Sandesh, Suyog, Rig. Been playing together for a very long time. They have a very tight-knit bond amongst each other. And of course, that also improves the communication that they've got when it comes to the team fights that they're a part of. But overall, I mean, you combine their efforts together, especially in week 2 itself, the lead with which they're roaming about in the overall ranking in week 2, it is most certainly commendable. And they do not seem to be wanting to stop anytime soon as well.
Well, certainly they don't want to stop, and in fact, like I was pointing out, that week number 1 was entirely about the Mongolian teams, but the way other region teams are also picking themselves up and showcasing showing good performance, I think it is going to be an entirely different week number 2. Abrupt Slayers, I always say Abrupt Slayers, they shine the most in the map of Miramar. So Abrupt Slayers, this could be the game, or this could be the day when they can redeem themselves and start performing really better, because yesterday also they didn't have the best of the time. Today, 2 back-to-back bad games came from their side, but I don't complain about Sanhok, because Sanhok has never been Abrupt Slayers' main strong map. But Miramar is, and if they don't perform in the strongest map, that is something to be complained about. So Abrupt Slayers right now, they do have a good position to hold on to. They do have the zone, they have everything required. They have the resources also. They don't need the secondary loot, so they're looking pretty loaded and comfortable and cool as cucumber in their compound right in the center of the circle.
Let's see though that cucumber approach is going to be able to help them out or not. Because this is something that we spoke about Abhi in the previous game as well. When it comes to ASL, they're doing exactly what they did in week 1. The first 2 days, they were kind of missing from the action. You kept on pointing out again and again as to where exactly is ASL missing. And then on day 3 onwards, they started popping off heads like there's no tomorrow. And pretty much the exact same deja vu being showcased from the side of ASL's gameplay in week 2 as well. But alongside all of that, the zone has constricted on towards itself. It's moving on towards the northern side. Again, quite a lot of colorful teams in their vehicles right now. This game is going to turn into a chaos, that is for sure. We're not going towards an urban finish. That also is clearly indicative of the fact that the zone has moved up north. With that, the first airdrop being dropped on. Godless, if he can get his hands on this, the AMR, it could definitely help him out, but it does not seem like he's going to be stopping. The entirety of IHC are going to be rotating right around the first airdrop, where the AMR is going to be available. But right now it's going to be Leo Esports against the players of Elementrix, if I'm not mistaken, right here. As Elementrix are going to be far out towards the edges, and the compound is taken over by the players of Leo. Slipknot is the name. Well. What exactly is going to be the game right here from Slipknot coming in from Leo Esports up on top of that compound? But Elementrix, as we can see, they're surrounding the compound itself. Will they want to take this fight, or are they going to just fall back out of this area? That could be another opportunity they could utilize, and that's exactly what it seems like Astra is going to be doing as he pops the smoke. Make that 2, and I believe he's going to be rushing back out of this position.
He has to rush back. He has to fall back to his teammates. Otherwise, the position he is in, Leo Esports, if they get to know Astra is there and the smokes, are definitely going to give some vague idea to the players of Leo Esports. The grenades, the molotovs might come in, and that is where survival for Astra is not going to be so easy. But from the far off angle, look at the position of Orangey. He has a height advantage, and if he has got some sniper and an 8x, I think he can provide the necessary backup required for the players of Elementrix Esports, but right now Frag, well, he spotted down Dami on the rooftop, did deliver hefty damage to him, but not enough to take him down. At the same time, Elementrix, well, they need to be a bit careful because now we have 16 teams and 64 players remaining. That means not even one player has been dropped down. And this is completely different from the Miramar we saw on the very first day, or at least the way teams played in week number 1. Because I do remember on the first day, teams were picking fights on the very initial stage of the game. Now teams are realizing the importance of surviving till the very last circles and then pick up the fights. Yes, you do need the elimination points, but if you manage to survive till the very last few circles, you get the placement points as well. That could be the reason that we are seeing in the change of pace of Miramar as compared to week number 1.
It could very well be the case. With that, it's going to be Sitim Esports opening up the first blood situation right here that we were talking about. First defeat has been confirmed against the players of Venom DE as Relay also goes down. Venom DE are now left with just a 2-man army on the other side of the map altogether. We've got ISC's Godless taking shots against ASL. So Abrupt Slayers are in a little bit of trouble as well as Venom DE against the players of Sitim Esports, where QB with a perfect spray was able to, of course, connect it onto the vehicle. But for now, Venom DE are going to be able to run away from this area. And I guess it's not going to be allowed because Desert is on the run as well. He's on the hunt as well. He does not want to let Venom DE's 2 players run away from this area. He's going to try and deliver some perfect sprays. But before we see that, we've got TRZ's Mamba against the players of T2K. And this perfect nade, can it bring in any damage? No, it will not. TRZ Mamba thought it could, but it has never not been the case as of yet. And just a small little change in the, of course, Sandesh's throw right there could have been Mamba dropping down from that Molotov, but thankfully for now Mamba is still going to be able to survive. But T2K, they have, of course, TRZ in their cross, as T2K has dropped down quite a lot of players from Mamba's team, as well as the same is going to be the case with as the trades start taking place between both of these teams. The DBS was in the hand of course, Degree right there, but sadly, before he could utilize his DBS, it is going to be the nade that's going to be doing the talking right now. And with all that commotion, it seems like T2K now have invited the team of 4MV to also chime into this fight.
Well, certainly 4MV can do a third party, but somewhere else on the map, we have a fight brewing up between the players of Stalwart Esports and DE as well, where the numbers of DE are not supporting them. Now DE they have been reduced to 2-man army. But T2K, well, they do have a good concrete to hold on to, but 4MV, they have the height advantage. At the same time, T2K Esports are peppering few bullets in the direction of DE Venom. This is not looking good at all for the players of T2K Esports, as they're trying to grab attention of so many teams. And look at that, DE Venom Domi with that mini 14 takes on Sandesh over there. This is not looking promising for the players of T2K. Rig with that vehicle is trying to regroup with his teammates. On the other side, we have IHC Demo picking up Yeta Uta, rather getting the confirmation onto Yeta Uta from the side of Raw officials. Now Demo all by himself. I don't see any vehicle as well. His teammates are a bit far off. And Raw officials, if they decide to rush towards the command of Demo, it's not going to be so easy for Demo to survive.
Indeed, and as we look on towards that, it seems like Venom DE is bringing in a lot of hurt damage against the players of Sitim Esports, as well as Sitim were making a rotation. It seems like now in this compound, in this small little area, we've got T2K dropping down one of their players. Rig has been dropped down, but same is the case from Sitim Esports, as well as Desert has been dropped down. So it is going to be a 2v2 situation. But before we jump into a 2v2 affair between these two teams, it seems like Revival is going to be the most important thing, and that is what Sitim is going to be able to get on Desert. And Rig is going to be able to get from Suyog. So a 3v3 situation is what we've got going on right here. But as soon as they jump into this, it seems like TRZ Steel Shot is going to be dropping down Desert once again. Desert has a lot of trouble being not being able to survive for too long right here, because he keeps on dropping down. I'm sure that this is the moment that T2K can very well, of course, cherish and relish, as they are once again in the numbers advantage. A 3v2 affair is what we got over here. But in the kill feed, look at what we've got. Bad Intentions once again taking the fight to the face to the players of IHC, as Godless has been dropped down.
Well, certainly, Sitim, the numbers are not in their favor. T2K Esports, they do have a good cover to their name. Grenades are coming in. Throwables are being used from both the sides. On the other side, looking at the mini-map, there are only two teams who are in the center. One is Stalwart Esports and the other one is Abrupt Slayers. Otherwise, all the teams are trying to fight it on the edge of the circle. High Voltage, they are also picking up the plus of Stalwart Esports, and IC has been eliminated. So Stalwart Esports are picking fight on the multiple fronts, and looks like the trades are coming back and forth, and IC gets confirmation onto Malik as well. High Voltage, they have been reduced to only one man, T2K. Well, they are trying to take down the plus of Sitim, and looks like they get one player desert, and the remaining players, well, they make a quick escape from the situation and trying to survive with the remaining players.
Absolutely, but I mean, the way this game is playing out right now, we are part of stage 4, and we're still looking at 15 teams surviving. 47 in total are the number of players who are still left in this lobby. As we look on the numbers, we've got the kill feed showcasing Venom DE's over aggression right now, as they take on shots against T2K as well, as Rig will be eliminated. That means T2K are down to a 2-man army as well. For the players of Stalwart Esports, the competition just gets much, much better from here because of the way they're able to accumulate those points for themselves. They're sitting at 6 defeat points. They've lost out on IC, I believe, but that's the only player that they've lost to the cause. Apart from that, they are a 3-man strong team, STE. But it seems like that's not really the case for Leo Esports right now, as they get against the players of Elementrix. Now, Elementrix is Astra is right around the corner. Same is the case with Entry Frag and his teammates as well, Gimli. But it seems like Gimli is going to be dropped down right there. And same for Entry Frag as well from far away. Leo Esports are going to be able to make their presence felt, and same a third-party situation from Mavitex, also taking down the numbers against the players of Elementrix. So a very difficult position that could have been for Leo Esports right now has been awarded with a gracious opportunity where, of course, they will be able to get all 4 players surviving. Elementrix are the ones who are leading the charge over here against Leo Esports, but Maptex's third-party approach has taken away this fight from the side of course, Elementrix, and now Maptex have the opportunity to take the fight to the face of Leo Esports as well.
Well, certainly Maptex Esports from the high-tech advantage, trying to pick up the players of Leo Esports. The way grenades are coming in, the perfect projectile is still missing, but Mr. Smokey goes down through the hands of Baron with that M416 spray that is coming in, and Leo OP is looking for a confirmation point onto Mr. Smokey. Maptex Esports, they are looking so very strong in this particular fight, and Leo Haidami, well, he gets a confirmation onto the plus of Elementrix. Even Elementrix, they have been reduced to a single player now, and Leo OP with that S12K in the hand, but Baron is unstoppable as he picks off Liquid as well from the side of Leo Esports. Leo, they are pretty much pinned down at that particular position. They can't do anything in the situation. Kese with that vehicle close in the distance, S12K in his hands, takes on one more player that is going to be Slipknot, and now Leo Esports, well, they're surviving, not surviving anymore, as last player has also been eliminated, and Baron, what phenomenal gameplay that came from his side. Maptex Esports, without facing any casualty, has managed to eliminate the entirety of Leo Esports. Now they have 5 defeat points, 12 teams, 35 plus still remaining in the lobby.
Absolutely, and as we push on ahead from one fight to the other, we're continuing on fourth, where 11 teams are remaining right now as Sitim Esports get eliminated on the 12th rank and with 2 eliminations to their name. 11 teams, 34 players in total. Mavitex looking very, very comfortable with 5 eliminations to their face. Then comes in 4MV with 2, but Stalwart Esports, they're in a league of their own with 6 defeat points confirmed. But on our screens, we've got ASL against the players of 4MV. We'll come back to that, as right now we've got Bad Intentions taking on some shots as well. They're trying, we saw in the kill feed as well, Bad Intentions had taken shots against the players of IHC, where Godless was dropped down. But it seems as of now, none of that has resulted in anything because Bad Intentions still have 0 defeat points. But they know exactly where IHC are at. And IHC, they are not inside the zone as of yet.
It's not the information that is going to give you the points. It's the elimination point, the placement points. And that is where Bad Intentions are lacking. They're not able to capitalize on the information. And look at that, raw officials. They take down Shoykot from the side of Bad Intention. The minute I take the name of this team, some players are always falling down. Venom D, well, they have been eliminated after a phenomenal run in Sanhok. This game of Miramar definitely not in their favor. 11th position with only 2 points in their name. Seal Esports, they are trying to inch closer inside the circle, but they have to be careful of the players of 4MV because the split that is coming from the side of 4MV and the position Seal Esports are in right now, they're way too open. There is no hard cover, and 4MV Apex capitalize on that, and Sanchir, instant confirmation came in. Seal Esports now left with only one player, that is going to be Becca. On the other side of the map, we have IHC going up against the players of Abrupt Slayers, as well as Abrupt Slayers. Sleepy has been picked off.
Indeed, it was Godless who was bringing in that charge, but now it seems like Becca from the side of CL Esports has only a few more seconds remaining right now, because one more nade and that could be it, and that's exactly what 4MV's East going to be providing. And with that, CL Esports get eliminated on the 10th with only one elimination point. But look at this, from far, far away, 4MV East has been able to scope out and spot out the players of Maptex Kese. But again, the distance is too far off, and right now with that, when it comes to the site that they've got, well, they don't have a good site. They're not going to be able to take on that shot and fight against Mabatex for now. 4MV are going to probably have to fall back. But again, with 9 teams remaining, this is the moment for all of these teams to start shining. And Raw officials have tried that with a scar in his hand. Claw was not able to claw in much in this fight because Bad Intentions, well, Alpha with a UMP was able to scope out that possibility and thus in turn, of course, get one defeat point for himself. And now Bad Intentions, Stroikot with a mini 14, bringing in those taps against Connects from the side of Raw officials. He knows exactly where he is at, but Bad Intention, Stroikot, he's not able to yet confirm that into a point. A tough luck for Bad Intentions. They've got information on IHC, they've got information on Raw officials, but sadly are not able to convert that into points for themselves. On top, above the positioning of Bad Intentions, we've got Mabitex's players as well, right around the vicinity. Now, looking at the mini-map, towards the north, we can see Mabitex are scattered all the way towards the north. But if we come towards the eastern side of the zone, Stalwart Esports, they've got the compound. They're looking very secure right there. IHC towards the southeastern, western side, my apologies, are again the team in Cyan who've got 2 players creating a very, very big split. And then there is 2-man army that are stuck in the compound in the warehouse that we saw from the side of Bad Intention. But as all that takes place, IHC's demo is able to somehow scope out the player of 4MV as Doc goes down. Seems like a flank angle that's been created from the side of IHC is going to be working out in their favor.
Well, these shots that are coming from the side of IHC on the plus of 4MV are kind of helping the plus of Stalwart Esports, because the only threat that was blooming for the players of Stalwart Esports was 4MV from the southern side. And now 4MV, they are engaged in a fight with the plus of IHC. At the same time, Abrupt Slayers can also do a third party. This is a blessing in disguise for the players of Stalwart Esports. They have the very best compound, they have the circle, they have everything required to get this game. This is their game to lose. IHC, they do have the numbers, but they don't have the best of the position. They have already poked the bears in the lobby that are 4MV. At the same time, Bad Intentions can also come from the backlines and do a third party onto the plus of IHC. So IHC, well, they have to check both the angles onto the plus of 4MV, at the same time onto the plus of Bad Intention. But looks like the plus of Raw officials are picked off by Valley of Maptex Esports, and Bad Intention again out there in the open in Miramar. Alpha also goes down.
Indeed, he will be annihilated right there. That means now for Bad Intentions, there is only 2 players surviving. Make that actually 1, because the sprays just continue on 4 from Wally to Bad and his teammate from Maptex Esports. They've got a perfect read of what Bad Intentions are up to, and that entire area where, of course, Sim, the final player of Bad Intention, is left, is going to be surrounded with the blues. That means the days and the, well, minutes are numbered for the final player of Bad Intentions. Same could very well be the case from Elementrix as well. But before Elementrix's final player is eliminated, it seems like Erangel has something to say, as he's going to be bringing down Baron. So a very fanned out approach coming in from Maptex Esports has resulted in one of the players, Baron, going down. And now on the other side of the game altogether itself, the map, we are looking at 4MV, 4 players jumping onto the opportunity and taking on the players of ASL. We've got ASL Sleepy up on top with the Scarlet in his hand, and on the other side for the players, we are, of course, wanting to see some nades, some Molotovs, and the throwables are not yet being visible in this fight. It's all being brought down to the skill of course, noting where your teammate is at, and then, of course, getting the conversation to perfection. In all of this, of course, DBS would be a very good gun. But for now, it has not yet begun. The fight has not yet begun. They're still keeping it okay. There we go. 4MVs refuse. He thought he's going to be able to enter that from the back angles. But STE are going to be jumping in. And a perfect third party is going to be stopping 4MV's push against ASL. So now ASL have the advantage. It's a 4v3 situation between these 2 teams.
Well, certainly for MV East, what can he do in this situation? And 3 players of Abrupt Slayers are charging towards them. Yes, they do have a good compound, but IHC Demo is going to do a third party and take down Chari, helping the players of 4MV in a way. And 4MV, if they're reading the finish feed, they ought to know the players of Abrupt Slayers are at the weakest, but Sleepy is going to take down Dog, making things even. Even Sleepy will get the confirmation also with that amp onto Dog. Now 4MV down to only 2 players. The grenade could have been deadly if locked to the perfection, but looks like Apex is not going to have the perfect projectile. He's going to buy some time for himself by lobbing that smoke, but the numbers are not in the favor of 4MV, and the players of Abrupt Slayers are also approaching this fight very cautiously, but East takes down Gangsta over there, and now Abrupt Slayers Sleepy is the only man standing and literally burning in that Molotov. And with that, officials have been eliminated, and Abrupt Slayers Chari, he has to go for the rescue mission as he's the only man surviving. This is a very crucial revival coming in from both the sides, and I'm sorry, Chari is not the last man. Vishal is also there, so definitely Abrupt Slayers, they have the numbers in their hands. This is their fight.
Indeed, it definitely is going to be their fight, but we'll have to see how far off is 4MV going to be able to hold ASL against their entire fray, because right now when it comes to 4MV, they've got 8 defeat points, but when it comes to the utilities, they have none left pretty much right now. That means that Apex along with the East are going to have to jump out of this fight, or they can take it by a storm. Apex is holding on to that staircase since such a long time, and interestingly enough, even though the numbers advantage is going in favor of ASL, they keep on dropping down and again, and that in turn of course helps out the positioning and the compound that is in favor of 4MV. For now, that ASL is not able to steal away, but on top right here, on the top floor of this compound, 4MV's East seems to have locked horns against the players of Stalwart Esports. He has nowhere to go. Right behind him is going to be stage 8 blue zone, going to give him a lot of damage, but ASL, this is a drastic conversion right here. This was so important for ASL to be able to get this compound, but sadly now they themselves are stuck at the lower grounds of this compound, of this building, where indeed they do not have any utilities left on them as well. Look at Sleepy with 0 first aids or bandage. This is a tough conversion for ASL as well, and right in front of them is going to be STE, holding on, ready, easily, patiently waiting to pounce upon the opportunity. Both of these teams were looking so phenomenal in terms of getting closer and closer to the chicken dinner, but now, with the Blues right behind them, and stage 8 coming to an end, this is a do-and-die mission for both of these players and both of these teams, and it seems like that's exactly what East is going to be doing. He jumps down, but that's just not going to be able to help him out. Apex, not wanting to participate in the fight, is going to be taking a brunt of the Blues, and that in turn will be his annihilation. And just like that, ASL themselves jump out into the crosshairs of the players of Stalwart Esports, and just in that matter of seconds, they jump out, they take out the players of 4MV and themselves get eliminated thanks to Stalwart Esports. We're left with just 2 teams remaining, IHC against the players of STE.
And Zed out there in the open, Demo is going to capitalize and instantly take him down. As Stalwart Esports, they have been reduced to 2 men. One of them has been knocked down, and the crucial revival should be met as LX with that buggy is already closing in the distance, and Tops need to heal himself as soon as possible because LX is right on their neck. And action goes down through the amp of LX, and LX 1v2 situation. He managed to clutch it out, and Stalwart Esports, they won't get this winner chicken dinner. It is IHC that came on the top. The final 1v2 situation, IHC clutched it out and managed to get that beautiful winner chicken dinner for themselves with good amount of finish points, good patience that was showcased from the side of IHC Esports. They strike when it was required, when it was only 2 final players remaining, and the minute they managed to eliminate NERZ, they knew the numbers are in their favor. This is the moment the true charge in, and that is exactly what the players of IHC did.
Indeed, and right now, of course, there are 2 more games still remaining for the players of IHC Esports today, and in total, we are left with 2 more games remaining as well. But talking about the eliminations, total 10 eliminations, 20 points in total, along with the chicken dinner, of course, puts them on the 4th in the overall ranking. So, wonderful, valiant effort from IHC Esports. Hello and welcome back once again right here at PMPL South Asia, where week 2, day number 2 continues on 4th. We're already done with almost more than half of the day of day 2 right here, of course, joined in with Shadow, as 2 more games remain, one on Erangel, one on Miramar. But do you, Shadow, what do you think? Week 2, did you anticipate that week to go like this, or did you expect that other teams, apart from Stalwart Esports or IHC, other teams could maybe be the one who will try and rise up to the occasion in week 2? What did you think?
I did expect other teams to rise, and they're definitely rising. We have the plus of T2K. They're also doing really good in this particular week. So definitely other teams are also trying to step up. Then we have the players of I8 also. I8, they were not having a good run at all in the previous week, but this time at the start of the day, they were sitting on the 3rd position. They even managed to get one chicken dinner on the very first day. So yes, other teams are also picking themselves up. Even the plus of DRS, they didn't have the best run in previous week, but this time DRS is also looking very promising.
Indeed, but one team that definitely in week 2 has not been up to the mark. I mean, there are a couple actually, of course, in that name, but SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is going to be one that I feel have, kind of lackluster in terms of the performance they've showcased thus far. But with that, we'll go on a short little break. Stick around. Right now, what we're going to be talking about is going to be, well, 2 games remaining, Erangel and Miramar. And talking about the break itself, well, I think it is time for us to go on that short little break. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Your order is here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back once again right here at PMPL South Asia, where the journey continues on in week number 2, day number 2, where 3 games are done, 2 more games still do remain, one on Erangel, one on Miramar. But till now, the chaos has just continued on. With that chaos all summarized based on what the top players have done. So let's have a look at this. We just got done with match number 3 on the map of Miramar, where of course we've got IHC's Demo leading the charge. He's the MVP as well, of course, with 5 eliminations. And then come in Stalwart Esports as Action with 6 eliminations of his own. But again, if as we move on down this entire list, we've got one name, and that's Mongolia written all the way through.
Well, Mongolian domination is not stopping at all. They were dominating in week number 1, and this time again, IHC, Stalwart Esports, Maptex Esports, 4MV. Yes, Stalwart and 4MV are the Mongolian teams. 4MV, they didn't had the very good outing in the first day, but they are picking themselves up, and Apex being in the top players with 3 elimination, high amount of damage, they were doing so much in this particular one as well. But it was LX who was dishing out the most damage, 1065. But now Miramar is again over, and Stalwart Esports second time today they missed the winner chicken dinner. They came on the second spot, but on the top we have IHC Esports with 20 points, Stalwart Esports on second with 15 points. Maptex, fantastic performance from their side, 11 elimination, high fragging game, sitting on the third with 14 points.
Indeed, and as we move away from this top 8 list down towards the bottom half of the leaderboard itself, we shall see what sort of a storyline has been created right over there. Because we know that Group C was not participating in this game. But for now, again, I mean, Venom DE, we saw them participate in, or rather, well, they themselves kind of were lost out as they made that late rotation, and that in turn resulted in them getting 2 eliminations. Same is the case for System Esports as well, just 2 eliminations, and Leo Esports sitting in the same bag. But all of that can still be looked on to the other side. Look at Raw Officials. I mean, this team, at times they play it so beautifully, they end up getting so many elimination points for themselves. But this time around, they end up getting only 2 placement points and no elimination point whatsoever, no defeat point whatsoever. So it makes you ponder and question as to Raw Officials, what exactly is the main idea over here? You know, I mean, how exactly are they planning on playing it? Is it based on where the zone is taking them? Or is it just momentum-based gameplay? Because you walk away with a game 10 plus eliminations, and then you get into a game without eliminations, just getting 2 placement points. Yeah, it leaves that consistency word out of the question then from them. But let's see.
It also comes to the fact that Yeta Uta was picked off at the very initial stage of the game, and the numbers were not in the favor of Raw Officials. They were not engaging in any fight when the players were being picked off. So Raw Officials, it's not like they were taking a fight and they've lost that fight. No, that was not the case. The players were picked off from different off angles, and that is where Raw Officials were pretty much handicapped. But looking at the schedule, we're already done with 3 games. Now is the time for Erangel, where Group B will be sitting out, and in Group B we have the players of Stalwart Esports, Abrupt Slayers, for TRZ and DEADEYES. And after this Erangel, we have Miramar again, where Group A will be sitting out.
Indeed, and these are the final 2 games that are remaining right now for day number 2 of week 2 itself. With that, it is time to jump into the age-old question of predicting what team is going to be walking away with the chicken dinner. Of course, there's the map of Erangel. Shadow, where are you going to be putting your allegiance to? And of course, choosing what team getting this chicken dinner.
I think 4MV. 4MV ought to get this one because their drop location is towards the southern side of military base. They drop in, and if again we get to see a southern circle, then 4MV can definitely capitalize.
All right, well, for medical vibes is going to be what your pick is going to be when it comes to this Erangel game. And from my side, I would love to be able to see what a team like Venom DEADEYES are going to be able to do on the map of Erangel. But again, it is going to be a tough luck situation because when it comes to Venom, they've not had a good day thus far. They are trying but are slacking, are not able to push in perfect approach. It's ups and downs once again that we're looking at when it comes to week 2. But that's our prediction set in stone. And right now it is time for us to jump in with the flight path itself and find out where is this going to be dictating us, and of course taking not only us but the teams as well, as we've got the flight path starting from the southern side of the entirety of the map, as we do have the military base right towards the right hand side, and it is going to be going all the way up north towards Yasnaya Poliana. So again, when it comes to places like Georgia Pole, shooting range, those are little far out places that maybe the teams are going to have to choose a different drop location for. But again, I mean, we know when it comes down to IHC, they love to go towards that South Georgia. They also do love to go towards Milta Power as well as Milta. So a very varied approach that could be anticipated from the teams right now based on what the flight path is dictating.
Well, certainly, but at the same time, a few of the teams were sitting out in this one, so maybe teams can try and go towards their drop location, because last time when T2K was not in the lobby, 2 teams went towards Severny and they both engaged in a fight. I remember one of them was I8, so this kind of gameplay also comes in sometimes. But 4MV, they're again heading towards the side of military base, and looks like the entire southern island belongs to them, because there is no Stalwart Esports and no other team is opting to go towards the side of Novoripnoy. So that means 4MV, they have the entirety of southern island all they need is a southern circle.
True, that is so very true. Of course, right there we've got the zone taking itself towards the northern side. Wow, well. Shooting range, Giorgio. This is where we've got this zone taking us towards. All the teams are still scattered, nowhere around in the vicinity of where the zone is going to be. But this is going to be an interesting one. A team like 4MV who've gone down towards military base are going to have to make an early rotation to get into the comfort of the zone. The sooner you get into towards the northern side, the better off you're probably going to be. But hey, there's just stage number 1. There's still big changes that we can anticipate that the zone is going to be forcing these teams towards. On the other side of where the zone is, towards the eastern side of the map, we've got IHC going towards Milta Power. Right above them towards the Povka is going to be Mabatex. So again, scattered approach coming in from the side of these teams. And for now, no first blood situation.
Well, it's way too soon for a first blood situation. But yes, definitely we are going to see early fights or early casualties coming in this particular one because of the circle. The circle is towards the complete eastern side, northeastern side, and so many teams have dropped towards the western side or towards the center of the island, and that is where early rotations might come in. And during the rotations, we might see few casualties happening. Few of the teams' rotations might be cut off, but for MV, they are going to be so very happy because hey, come on, military base. It always offers a very good loot. This is one of the main reason for the consistent performance of 4MV in the previous week because empty bags can't stand upright for a very long time. And this time again, 4MV, they're looking pretty much loaded. 4 grenades already. They all have all the resources necessary to have any kind of a fight. But bad intention, well, they have the entirety of Pochinki to their name.
Indeed, they do, and they have nothing to worry about. And also the biggest factor over here being that when it comes to the entire region being there's the way that they're playing week 2 itself, the momentum they're certainly capitalizing on the momentum that they're a part of, and that of course is helping them. But let's just keep our fingers crossed. Let's not jinx it. I definitely do not want to jinx it. But want to keep my fingers crossed and see that they keep on bringing this sort of performance and delivery every single game that they're going to be part of. But for now, again, week 2 off to an interesting change of pace from bad intentions, that's for sure. But alongside all of that, as we move on from one team to the other, we've got the real soldiers on our screens.
Well, real soldiers, well, they are in the city of Milta. I won't say Erangel is their main strongest map. Yes, DRS do shine in Sanhok, but Erangel is also not so bad. I like the way DRS approach the game. They're not so very aggressive, and again, they always try to play along with the circle, try to get the best position inside the circle, and try to survive with all the 4 men possible till the very last circle. This is their always go-to game plan. But talking about the players as well, Blotter, Delta, Rules, Gyante, Killer. Gyante is a very old veteran player from the region. Definitely very experienced as well. But Sitem, this particular team as well, they have showcased good performances time and time again. But the consistency that we talk about a lot is not from their side. This time they are in the city of Yasya. That means they are head for a very long journey inside the circle. So they have to start pretty early. Oh, actually, they're just 300 meters away.
True, they are going to be able to get into the zone. They are at Yasnaya, but right across the fields, they are going to be able to find the zone. Now, Sitem Esports, day 1, week 1 was the biggest. Oh, what a leap right there, mate, Desert. That was a good one. Some parkour action being showcased right here from Desert X. But apart from that, what I was going to say was that in week 1, day 1 is where I saw Sitem Esports do really well. And then after that, there have been ups and downs in terms of the way that they've been able to play and convert games for themselves. That is something that, of course, for now works. Because they aren't that far low as well in the overall league ranking. But if it continues throughout the entirety of week 2, then they're going to be in a very tricky position. As we know that once week 3 is done, only top 16 teams qualify for the finals. And of course, as we get closer and closer to the finals, we are yet to go through 2 bonus maps that are going to be played. At the end of this week, Sunday, and then next week, week number 3, Sunday, day number 5, where of course it will be none other than Vikendi that we're going to be looking at.
Well, certainly. And Sitem Esports, well, they have the entirety of Yasnia, not too far away from the circle, only just 150 meters. They can easily have a good spot for themselves. But on the other side, the teams that like dropping in towards the side of Rozok or towards the side of military base like DRS for 4MV, they have to go for a very early rotation, or maybe late rotation can also be the key, because you are not going to get any sort of resistance. No one is going to cut off your rotation, so you're going to find a clear pathway inside the circle. But talking about SATM Esports previous day, I think SATM, they are not looking good in terms of the performance. Yes, they were able to get 5 finishes in the very first game which they played and 4 finishes, but after that, 0 finishes, no placement points. So SATM do need to step up with the game. Otherwise, this time they won't be in top 12, because right now they are sitting somewhere on the 15th spot.
Indeed, that is so true, and that is something that I'm sure that they will be able to change, of course. But for now, again, as the game continues on, what we need to be able to see is how exactly is this going to be fairing out. And of course, the biggest question right now is going to be that you are going to be asking as well is what's happening with the game, because I'm talking about the game. The game is something that we're not able to see. So what's going on? Well, don't you guys worry, don't you fret. We will let you know as soon as we're updated about all of that. And it seems like we have just been informed the game is going to be rehosted. So that would imply that the zone that we just saw is not going to be seen once again. Ouch. I loved that shooting range zone. I loved where it could lead the entirety of the game itself. But anywho, the game itself is getting rehosted. So that means another opportunity going to be provided to the teams, as well as, of course, once again, since the flight path might actually change, the teams are going to get, like I said, another opportunity to change the way they decided to play the previous one. And now, of course, a sigh of relief perhaps for the teams that were not looking too good right now on the Erangel game. The only one Erangel game that's going to be played today.
Well, certainly the only one Erangel, and I'm very sure 4MV they are going to be happy, because next time I'm very happy, because this circle was not at all favoring the drop location of 4MV, and I want to get one more correct prediction today. So let's hope we get to see a southern circle, a circle which I hate the most. But this time, I think a southern circle I can deal with. But talking about other teams also, Plotter, which team do you think that should perform really good other than 4MV, Stalwart Esports, they are sitting out on this particular one. What other team you think is going to perform really good in this particular angle?
On the Erangel map itself, I definitely love to see what high voltage are going to be up to. But then again, can they do anything? Because again, in week 2, they haven't really had the bestest of the games thus far at least.
Yeah.
Another team that I would love to actually bring up in terms of name itself is going to be a team like DRS Gaming, who I would like to see perform decently for themselves, but that much more would be the case for Esports, another team from the same group that High Voltage is from. Esports, Raw Esports, these are teams that I would love to be able to see get a really good Erangel game and get those points racked up in their favor. Though again, it's easier said than done. Right here, of course, in the overall ranking, we can clearly see when it comes to Esports, they're sitting on the 9th position with 29 total points, and there is still quite a stark difference between them and the teams right above them. So Esports is going to have to buck up and get a really good conversion for themselves. DRS Gaming with 2 chicken dinners sitting on the 5th position is not the best play, of course, that they've made thus far.
Still okay. Lotter, they're sitting on the 5th spot. They have got 2 chicken dinners. They're not the most aggressive force in the lobby, yet they are in top 5 as compared to the other teams who showcase good performance, double-digit finish performance in one game, and then boom, 0 points in the very next game. At least the consistency is coming from their side. Every single game, they are getting at least 1 or 2 elimination point.
True.
So I think DRS, whatever they're doing, it's working for them. I have no complaint at all.
Well, again, there's no complaint, but of course, there's always a hope. That hope is that you want to be able to see that team always lead the charge. You know, I mean, the way we're looking at 4MV right now is pretty much the same thing that used to happen at one point in time for IHC. At one point in time, the rivalry between IHC and Stalwart Esports were the ones who would always be 1 and 2. But then, similarly, in the same fashion, we also had a team like DRS who were almost always on top over there, with the lead going always in their favor. So, of course, you always remember those PMPLs and you're like, you know what? This team, they need to do better now because they've created that marker, right? They've created that stamp in our memory bank that clearly indicates that one of the best teams better be sitting up on top. But you're right. They are looking comfortable sitting in the top 5 to the top 8. Moving away from there to the second page, on the 15th position, we saw Raw Officials, a team that today has been able to deliver some massive performances. But then again, as soon as they go and bring in some perfect performance, they drop down, and then the performance just completely shatters, and the entire graph just goes against them. And that again, if they're able to just get a decent control of in terms of the way they're able to play and get consistent points, like I was saying, 6 points per game, then also we can actually see Raw Officials climb up, rise up, and be a part of the top 12 to participate in the Weekending map. But yeah, it's easier said than done, because it's not only Raw Officials that I've got high hopes for. There are so many in the latter half of the page that definitely deserve to be in the top 12. But can they do it? Based on the stats they've showcased thus far, it's not looking good.
It's not looking good at all. But like you pointed out, few of the teams that used to be on the top few seasons back, like I remember in season 2 it was entirely DRS and DEADEYES. They always used to be on the top spot, like 4MV is right now, and Stalwart Esports. That time it used to be DRS and now this time DEADEYES, they are completely missing. Although I see few of the players are still the same. On top sir, Shifu sir are still part of the roster. Still the consistency, the performance which I expect from them is not coming from this side. I'm hoping soon DEADEYES will also find their feet in the game, and maybe they'll deliver the same performance which I saw from their side a few years back. But on the other side, talking about other team also, Elementrix. What is happening to the players of Elementrix? Either get a chicken dinner or get deliver a good high fragging game. In the very next game, they face a fall down.
True, and
Downfall,
Elementary is
sorry.
another one of those teams, right? Who haven't really showcased the best of the best play. You want to talk about a team that is almost always able to get those decent amount of points. One game you doing wonderfully well for yourself, and then the rest of the day is not going good. That means that the opportunity that could have been yours is now been taken away from you to the other teams and in their favor. And that is where we see Elementrix, even though they got a decent game, just not able to rise up to the occasion and get that consistently played out for themselves. But hey, it also boils down to what the zone is going to be doing. Where exactly are these teams going to be setting themselves up at? Because that is where we see DRS approach with a completely different aggressive streak from their side. And this time around, the flight path has changed as we start from the northern side of Zarki this time around towards Severny and Zarki from the northern side. No, my apologies. It is to the opposite side, towards the eastern side. It is going to be Stalwart right now, and we going down to the western side of the map. So again, the southern areas, Milta Power, Novorupnoi, military base altogether itself, they're a little further out. So a tough conversion for teams. But that also implies that the zone could very well actually take us down towards farm shelter region as well.
Well, possibility is there that we can see a southern circle, but we have to wait. But this time T2K again, they're going towards their favorite drop location, that is going to be Siverny. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming in a split position around Stelber area. Few players going towards the side of Kameshki, but they need to be a bit careful from the players of Seal Esports, because this time Seal Esports are again in the close proximity. And I remember last time when Seal and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming were close by in the map of Miramar. Well, Seal Esports, they lost one of their own. So maybe this time they are looking for a redemption, at the same time looking for some revenge. So SKYLIGHTZ Gaming needs to be a bit careful. At the same time, in Pochinki, Bad Intention, well, they are heading. No big change in terms of the drop location that I can see.
Indeed, not a big change as far as the drops are concerned. When it comes to the zone itself, it is going to be towards the eastern side, keeping farm and shelter pretty much in the center. We've got the players of high voltage finding themselves in the center of the zone. Towards the northern side is going to be Yasnaya Poliana of the zone, where we've got Sitim Esports. Out further towards Lipovka is where we've seen Mavitex always drop down. And it seems like early contestation could have been drawn over here between Illuminate True and High Voltage, who find themselves in the center, are now going to be able to, of course, easily get out of that area. IHC, they love to go towards South Georgia, and that's where we shall see them. Even though the zone is not in that region, IHC, it seems like, are probably going to be deciding to go for a late rotation. And towards the northern side of Georgia, we've got Venom DE patiently getting them getting their own loot set up.
Well, certainly, but look at the position of DRS as well. They are right in the epicenter of the circle. So maybe this time again we can see a good performance coming from the side of DRS. At the same time, IA, they are also in the close proximity. Both these teams are sharing the epicenter of the very first circle. So this is looking good as far as both these teams don't engage in a fight with each other. On the other side, looking at the position of A+B+C Esports, they are somewhere towards the side of Lipovka. They can have the entire eastern control to them till the very final few circles if they manage to survive. And I think A+B+C might be looking very promising in this one.
There's definitely a chance. In fact, every single time I'd say A+B+C has a chance. Because their rotations are on point. Their reading of the lobby is so very precise. It's just the aggressiveness that was a little missing from their side. The over aggression that is required in this lobby is something that A+B+C were not wanting to be a part of in week 1. But in week 2, they've showcased real good signs of improvement. So could be their games, but could be their game and day as well. But right now it's going to be Mafia Ninja from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming getting closer and closer to Becca from the side of SEAL Esports. And Becca, with a PB Bison in his hand, is going to be just patiently waiting for what this SG player is going to be doing. Mafia Ninja jumps into the compound, jumps out of the compound. Of course, Seal Becca is not doing anything. Oh, never mind. It seems like there's a nade or a utility that's been thrown from the side of Mafia Ninja. Yep, it definitely is. So he's probably got an idea as to there is somebody around in the vicinity. He's going to jump in back into his vehicle and get out of this tricky position that he finds himself in. Thankfully, that means that Becca as well as SG Mafia Ninja live to fight another fight in this Erangel. But again, that also implies that the first blood that could have been drawn between these two has now been stolen away from us. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer to understand where we can expect a first blood situation to be drawn. Slow start, definitely.
Certainly a slow start. At the same time, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, well, they managed to make an escape from the situation, but they still need to be a bit careful because now SEAL Esports, they are aware that SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is in the close proximity, and this is not looking good for either of these teams because SEAL and SKYLIGHTZ, on this very day, the thing that is happening wrong with them is their players are getting picked off individually out there in the open, and they both don't want to stay out there in the open for a very long time. But looking at this particular team, HIGHVOLTAGE, they have the entire control of the school area and the apartments. This has been their usual drop location since the very start of the event. This is where they always find the residency. But right now, HIGHVOLTAGE, they only have 28 points. They're sitting on the 12th spot, not the best position to be in. Consistency again not coming from their side. Yes, they did manage to get one good game in their favor where they placed on the 3rd spot with 5 elimination, but other than that, HIGHVOLTAGE, they have been completely missing out. And this is what I was saying about SEAL Esports and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Trades are coming in, and SEAL Esports 2+ have been picked off by the plus of SKYLIGHTZ, and now a 2v4 fight is again up for SEAL players, and looks like Arrow has been taken down, but from the low angle, Sanjay does manage to take down Nima, gets a confirmation as well, but AJ is going to eliminate the last player as well. But SEAL Esports, before getting eliminated, they did enough damage on to the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. They lost Nima in this situation. 4 defeat points, 1 player lost. I think decent.
Most certainly. That's a good outing right there for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming for sure. And they ought to be happy and proud of it. Of course, things could have gone differently had they not caught up in the open like this. But that's what the battleground is. You cannot always plan as to how the fight's going to go down. But never mind that, with 4 defeat points, like you said, they ought to be feeling happy about this. But now, with 800 meters to cover, they need to slowly make an entry towards the zone itself. On the southern side of the military base altogether itself of this map, we've got 4MV who have gone down to that region, who've gone down that to the area. And now going to be, of course, getting all those level 3 kits set up for themselves. This is a really good start for 4MV. When they jump down to the military base and get all the loot set up for themselves, the only thing that at times does not favor them is a late rotation. But this time around, they don't have to worry about that as well, because it's right around the vicinity, the zone. And that in turn allows the possibility of 4MV to just cruise on along at the military base and wait for any other team to come into their vicinity. For now, that's highly unlikely, as Stalwart Esports is also not playing this game, so that means 4MV have the entirety of the military base to themselves. As we go up north from the military base on the map, we've got farm. That is exactly where we see Illuminate crew as well. In close proximity to them is going to be the players of Raw Officials. And right next to them, of course, we have DRS and Mabitex as well. So quite a lot of these teams sticking to the ridges right there. They're already anticipating the zone to shift down south and bring itself towards the ridges, which has happened quite a lot many times. But in the center is going to be NB Esports. I'm liking their position as well, and that helps them massively right there. High voltage NB Esports, they've got a really good spot right there. And then from the western side, we've got IHC joining into the fray, as well as late rotating team of Venom DE are going to be making their presence felt, maybe perhaps from Yasnaya. Let's see where exactly did they decide to make this entry into the zone from. But big chunk of these teams is going to be from the southern side. And that is where we do expect the next fight to be drawn on.
I agree to that, but I think Blotter, I was looking at the stats. I think we have been way too critical about the performance of 4MV because, yes, day number 1 was not entirely in their favor, but from the match number 4, they started picking themselves up when they showcased 14 finish gameplay from their side. And after that, today, every single time they are finishing in top 5 with good amount of finishes. So day number 2 is looking very promising. But somewhere else, T2K CEO finds Mafia Ninja from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming will again. The players are getting picked off individually, and it is not looking good at all for the players of SKYLIGHTZ, as they are down to only 2 men, 4 elimination points, but that is not enough to survive in this lobby with only 2 men. On the other side, Mapex Esports, where they who have an idea about the rotation that is coming from the set of DRS, and Valley with it Info16 is trying to take down few players, but definitely the vehicles of DRS have taken certain damage, but the players are safe and they're going to scuttle back to the safety. From the complete eastern side, from the sheltered area, we have the players of Mabdex Esports trying to take the complete control of the hills, and Leo OP, well, looks like he's scouting the area.
But he's most certainly around the shelter region trying to scope out if at all he's able to find out any other opponent team in the vicinity. Of course, the most important thing is to be able to accumulate those elimination points, and that in turn, of course, Mabitex Esports are going to be rushing towards Sitim. Jiro brings in a perfect knock and then brings down the players of T2K as Rig gets eliminated right there. T2K down to a 3-man squad, making a late rotation. T2K find themselves caught up in the blues, which of course has reflected in Sitim participating in that. Perhaps could have been a long distance fight itself, but whatever the case be, T2K are down to a 3-man squad as Rig gets eliminated right there. But apart from that, stage 2 is going to be coming to an end in another 20 seconds. There we have it, T2K Sandesh moving ahead with a close proximity to where Sitim's Desert X is at. And this is exactly what happened right there. For T2K, making that rotation to get into the zone. Sadly, it was Sitim caught out in the open right here. And perhaps it was Desert along with his teammate Jiro who were able to just completely obliterate Rig. Nevertheless though, for both of these teams, T2K as well as Sitim Esports, they've got about 700 to 800 meters to cover to get into the zone. And talking about the zone itself, well, look at that. Bad Intentions pretty much in the smack center of the zone. Towards the southern side, we've got 4MV making an entry as well. And right next to them is going to be a 2-man split of Illuminate crew. Right now, it is going to be, of course, Sitim from the side of Leo Esports as HIGHVOLTAGE, who are now going to be, of course, in the crosshairs, as it was a two-man army from the side of Sitim Esports, is going to be brought down to just a one-man squad, as Jiro is lost to the cause. Dobu get eliminated with a perfect nade. HIGHVOLTAGE increases the number of defeat points for Leo Esports. 16 is the number, as we're left with 3 teams remaining. Illuminate Crew is still going to be part of this entire fray. They've been able to bring down the players of Bad Intentions down to just 1 man remaining, but Illuminate Crew are now jumping into the possibility of course, getting the chicken dinner all by the lonesome, because this team, they were so very quiet. Leo Esports had absolutely no idea, but this jump from Woofers has all gone bad, has all gone against him. Now it's a 1v1, Sky against, of course, Mr. Smokey, and Sky will not be able to do much because the health is not going to be favoring him, and the same could be the case right here against Mr. Smokey as well, but Mr. Smokey goes down. So again, the entire fray is in favor of Woofers and his teammates Viper and Novax, but Woofers is just not able to climb this side of this mountain, which in turn is creating a perfect opportunity and an opening for the players of Leo Esports to give a revival to their teammates. Mr. Smokey is going to be falling back through the smoke. He's going to be going towards HIGHVOLTAGE, but not going to be allowed, as Mr. Woofers right here from Illuminate Crew will utilize his UMP to perfection. We've got 5 players remaining, and of course, only one is from Leo Esports, and that's going to be HIGHVOLTAGE. Illuminate Crew, what a perfect game from their side. They stole this victory against the players of Leo Esports. Definitely kudos effort to Leo Esports with 16 eliminations that they were able to accumulate for themselves. But boy, oh boy, Illuminate Crew, they played their cards right. They were so very quiet, like a snail-paced performance, but then in turn, when it was ready to pounce, it was time to pounce, they did so and stole that chicken. Amazing turn of events.
Well, certainly, they were not in the best position, but the way they played against the players of Leo Esports, Leo, despite having the height advantage, were not able to get this one, but still high elimination points to the players of Leo Esports. But I8, fantastic gameplay. Winner, chicken dinner to the players of I8 Esports. Not too many elimination points, but still consistency is coming from this particular team in this week. Yesterday also consistent performance came from the side of IA. This time again today also, by getting this winner chicken dinner, they have definitely ranked themselves up in the overall ranking, and this time 6 elimination, 1543 damage that they were dishing out, total 16 points, and in the overall ranking now they are sitting in top 12.
And we're back once again, of course, right here at PMPL South Asia, where indeed this is week 2, day 2, coming to an end almost. We've got one final game remaining to be played on the map of Miramar. But what just took place on Erangel, that, I mean, just right out of one of these Jason Bourne movies, where of course Illuminate Crew, they were just holding on steady at the edge of that rock, and nobody knew that there is a team right down there. They've got all 4 players surviving. They have not participated in any fight whatsoever at all. Bad Intentions just stuck in that corner, and Illuminate Crew allowed them to do so. And of course, graciously then presented with lead in return. That resulted in Bad Intentions going down and then pushed on against Leo Esports. What a perfect conversion for a chicken dinner for the team of Illuminate Crew, as they find themselves now in the top 12, basically on the 12th position.
In fact, Lotter, you pointed this out at a very early stage that I8 can take down the players of Leo Esports when there are 4 or 5 teams in the lobby, and I kind of disagreed with you, but yeah, you were right. I8, the way they came, no one knew exactly where they were. I'm disappointed from Leo Esports because they had the position. It looked like this is the game to lose, but never mind. I8, the consistency, the way they have improved their performance. Yeah.
One thing I can say is you don't have to feel bad for Leo Esports, because the total number of points that Illuminate Crew got from this game is 16, based on 6 eliminations and 10 for the chicken dinner. Leo Esports got 16 eliminations itself. I mean, 16 points right there is what they got, plus of course the placement points. That's going to be 6, I believe. So we had decent outing, most certainly a very fantabulous outing right there for Leo Esports. But again, is this just like a one-time pony sort of a thing that is going to be showcased from Leo Esports? Because that is what was done from them earlier as well. They got decent amount of points and then just faltered back, and then we're like, all right, you know what? We've done our work for this week. We're not going to be jumping into too chaotic of a fight, and that in turn, of course, resulted in them being a part of the top 12. But never mind all that. Right now, Leo Esports convincingly, Mr. Smokey with 5 eliminations gets the MVP. 1021 damage is what he was able to accumulate. Along with that, of course, he was all over the place. So 286 healing has also been provided in his favor.
Yes, Mr. Smokey. In fact, on day number 1 also, I still remember the way this lad picked up a fight with a plus of high voltage, the map of Erangel. Time and time again, Mr. Smokey from the side of Leo Esports have created an opening for a team that they can take down even the strongest teams in lobby. And every single time, it is Mr. Smokey that creates the opening, this time being the MVP. Kudos to this particular lad from side of Leo Esports. Amazing team. But like you said, the consistency, that is something that is missing from the side of Leo Esports, and we really hope that after this game they don't lose the momentum and carry forward the same consistency in the coming games as well.
Hopefully, fingers crossed for that, of course, because right now we've got only one final game remaining. But before we talk about that, let's also bring up, of course, the top players conversation, where Mr. Smokey did get the MVP, but following along very closely to him is going to be HIGHVOLTAGE as well from Leo Esports itself, where of course he accumulated 6 elimination points, along with of course 780 damage that he was able to dish out. So a huge chunk of tanks that needs to be showdown to of course HIGHVOLTAGE, as well as of course Liquid from the side of Leo Esports once again, who was right there on the 5th spot in the top players list.
Well, agreed to that. On the other side, looking at the match summary, also HIGHVOLTAGE is the guy with the highest elimination, Mr. Smokey with the highest damage, Mr. Smokey with the highest assist as well. But in terms of the highest healings done, it is Dobu from the side of Sitim. And reason being, Sitim not having the numbers, they were engaging in so many fights, because this time from the side of Sitim also, it was a very dominating performance. They had very high fragging game, and at the same time they were receiving a lot of damage as well. That is why we see a high number of healing stun from the side of Dobby. But in match ranking, Leo Esports on the top with 22 points.
Indeed, 22 points. And then we move on down from there. Of course, 6 points away is going to be Illuminate True with 16 total points that they were able to accumulate, thanks to, of course, the chicken dinner that they got. Moving on down south further is going to be Sitim Esports with 9 eliminations. 4 placement points is what they got, 13 in total. So a decent outing for them. Same can be said for Venom DE as well. But now, the second page. Now, the second page is where things are not looking too good. Elementrix Esports. Yesterday, they saw, they made us see and showcased some real good gameplay from their side, but today sadly has not been the case. Raw officials, pretty much the same exact storyline from them as well. Yesterday was looking pretty good. Today, definitely not the case. Seal Esports, no idea what's going on with them. T2K Esports, ups and downs is what we've got coming in from the side of T2K throughout the entirety of today. High voltage, they're missing. They're completely missing from the action in week 2 at least. And of course, fingers crossed, and would love to see how high and of course how far away in the entire week are High Voltage going to be able to get, because every single game I see them struggling right now.
They are struggling, and the struggle began in week number 1 itself. The downfall started in week number 1 towards the end phase of week 1. It's not like it's in week 2 they are not able to perform. So High Voltage need to figure out what is happening wrong. Either it's the close frontal battle which they are not able to win, or it's something, the synergy that is missing, because the rotations from the side of High Voltage are always good. It's not like they're losing players from off angles, or individual players are being lost to the cause. No, that is not happening. It's a close fights that High Voltage is losing. They have to work on the synergy, the placement of all the 4 players inside the battlefield. So that is something High Voltage need to work on.
Absolutely, and hopefully they will be able to showcase this in this week itself, and try and capitalize on the opportunity to get points for themselves. I mean, just like Illuminate True did right now. Till the final moment, they were just stuck and snuck around over there.
Yeah.
They were not part of fights. They did not anticipate or want to be part of fights as well, till the time it was absolutely essential for them to participate in one. And that's where, of course, we saw them jump in against Bad Intentions and then got the chicken dinner for themselves. But right now, as we move on ahead towards the final game of the day, we are going to be going towards the map of Miramar once again. It is a Miramar day after all, and thus implying Group A will not be participating. That means 4 Miracle Wives, Train to Kill, Venom DE, and Bad Intentions. These are the 4 teams that are not going to be participating. So apart from that, we've got Group B, C, D, and E that will be part of this final game. And this time around, I am going to go with Mongolian Domination. That's what I'm looking at. So I'm going to go with STE for the final pick of Miramar.
And I'm going, can I also pick STE?
Of
First
course.
question.
Absolutely.
And then my pick is also STE because they missed it twice today in the map of Miramar. In the very last, I'm very sure they're looking for that winner chicken dinner. So even my pick is going to be Stalwart Esports this time.
Exactly. That is my concern as well. I mean, my thinking as well. Sorry, that they gotten so close
Yeah.
to getting those chicken dinners that now I believe in the final game they better be able to, of course, get that going for themselves. But along with that, of course, we've got TRZ, another team that I look forward to, looking pretty good. But once we get this confirmed, hopefully, or should I change? No, I'm going to stick with STE as well. Stalwart Esports is going to be my pick as well. I'm just going through it in my head that STE I know is like a really good team that definitely has a chance of getting this game. But SKYLIGHTZ Gaming has not had a decent day as well throughout the entirety of it. Perhaps if this final game ends up giving them a decent drop location as well as a decent zone, maybe SKYLIGHTZ Gaming deserves to have a good outing and maybe even a chicken dinner. Though again, that's going to be a little too far stretched out thin, for it's not what their gameplay has showcased thus far, at least for day number 2 in week 2 for the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. But never mind all that conversation because that's all speculative. Our predictions are set in stone. It is going to be Stalwart Esports. But alongside that, looking at the flight path, starting all the way from southwestern side of Miramar, Vela del Mar, going north towards Campo Militar, most certainly allowing all the teams to go to their loved drop locations. But in all, can we have a prison circle? That is the most chaotic one from what I've seen, and also it very seldom actually happens that you end up getting a prison island circle. But nevertheless, that's where I would love for these teams to go down towards. But in a lobby like this with Class A teams, it's highly unlikely.
It's highly unlikely the entire prison circle, but we can have a valid Zilmar circle where the bridge will be up for the contestation. So that can be a possibility, but looking at the flight path, I don't think so. But we can have an Oasis circle because
Oh,
this time we are having a northern circle, and this is going to help the case of the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. So this time, if SKYLIGHTZ are not able to perform, I'm going to be so very disappointed because SKYLIGHTZ, this is a team with very high caliber. All the players are so experienced. They have all the skills. They have good synergy. They have everything. But something is not working for this team, and they need to find the feet as soon as possible because SKYLIGHTZ is a team which deserves to be in top 5. And especially in a map of Miramar with this kind of circle, map tech, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, these are the two teams that I always look for because the entire northern control is for them. We have a northern circle. They ought to perform really good in this one.
indeed, they definitely ought to. But let's see if at all they'll be allowed to or not. Because this is not the first time that we're looking at SG getting this sort of a zone. The rotations work out perfectly for them. They understand what's going on in the lobby as well. They understand based on the zone where the other teams are going to be jumping in and pouncing upon them. But still, at times, they just falter. Nevertheless, we'll see what this game has in store for them. Because this is, like you perfectly mentioned, their known area. Though on the other side, I mean, SGV look, they are on the western side of the zone pretty much towards La Cobra area. On the other side, towards east, towards Torre Amuda, we've got Mabatex Esports. Down south from them is going to be DEADEYES guys as well. So definitely a decent conversion for these teams. In fact, if we come towards Hacienda del Patron, we've got DRS as well as STE right close in proximity against each other. So there's all of these really wonderful teams with big names that can very well, of course, get this game in the bag. But not only, of course, time can answer right now because again, so many teams are towards the southern side of the zone. Look towards Los Leones, we've got Sitam Esports. Up north of Los Leones, we've got Seal Esports. In close proximity to this entire fray, we've got TRZ. And all of these teams that are towards the south are going to be making a rotation from the south itself. So chaos is going to be ensued for DRS, for Stalwart Esports, once all of these teams from south make a rotation to get into the zone. But for now, we've got Seal Esports Seal Esports' Aero, who has taken shots actually. We can see there is one team in the pink right around the vicinity, and it seems like it's going to be Illuminate. Yep, it's going to be Novax right there, who has been actually eliminated as well. So we've got the first blood being drawn right here, thanks to Seal Esports, Aero, and his approach.
Well, when it comes to Seal Esports, yes, they are able to get initial few finishes in their favor, but the question is they are not able to get the survival points. They are not able to survive for very long with all the 4 players alive in the lobby. That is exactly what happened with them in the previous game as well. They lost 2 of the players, and after that, Seal Esports were left with only 2 remaining players, and they were also eliminated pretty early. So Seal Esports, they have to make sure that when they are picking up fight, they don't lose out on their numbers. Otherwise, Seal Esports is looking so very promising in this particular week. On the other side, IHC Esports, they did manage to get one winner and a chicken dinner for themselves in the previous Miramar. So definitely they're again looking forward to deliver the same kind of performance in this one. Looking at the resources, IHC, they're looking good. They have the best weaponry. They do have the resources required. Yes, medkits could be a problem because all I see is 1 or 2 medkits in their hands. But still, okay, one of the players is having 4 medkits as well. So yeah, in terms of the resources also, they are looking so very good. Right now, they are towards the side of Montenuvo. Rotation could be a problem for the players of IHC because they have to cross path with so many teams on the periphery of the circle.
Indeed, that is true. The zone, I mean, the zone has thrown such a curveball this time around. It's gone all the way up north. In fact, I remember, like almost a year or a year and a half ago when we had casted, you used to talk about on the map of Miramar, OSS zones quite a lot. Or maybe I'm remembering wrong. But I remember being, talking about OSS and never ever have casting a game that takes the zone towards OSS. But right now, this could be the chance. Let's see though. As we saw Stalwart Esports down towards down south of the zone. I mean, not south, but the southern edges of the zone is where they were at, towards Hacienda. For now, they seem to be making a rotation from that region as well. Now, high voltage. What exactly is in store for this team today? In the overall ranking, things have gone abysmal for them. Compare their performance from week 1 into week 2. Definitely dip is what we're seeing from the side of this team. But nevertheless, all of that can change because this is, of course, just the first 2 days. The final 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is where all of it is going to be drawn out. And that is where, of course, we would love to see a comeback from so many of these teams sitting on the second page right now.
Agreed. High voltage, they are yet to find their feet in the game again. On the other side, Elementrix, this is a team that is showcasing time and time again good performances. Yes, bad performances coming from their side, but the way Elementrix, they are trying to improve their gameplay, they are looking promising in this week. Right now, they are in the close proximity to the players of Stalwart Esports, so Elementrix needs to be a bit careful. I do see DBS in the hands of few players of Elementrix. The DBS meta, I just love it, especially in the map of Miramar in the final circles when you have a DBS in your hands and you rush towards the last remaining team. That is always, I would love to see that kind of a gameplay. Right now, they do have a concrete cover for themselves, but in the map of Miramar, is that enough? Especially when you could be surrounded by so many teams. On the other side, we have the players of DE. This time, DE is also looking so promising. They have the eastern drop location towards the northeastern side. They are in close proximity to the players of Maptex Esports and DRS Gaming. If they're able to regroup and have a good compound or good position for themselves, I think DE can also perform really good in this one.
I mean, the time is running away from DEADEYES, guys. That is what the trouble is. They have to deliver. That is what the thing is. Every single time they jump onto the map, into the battleground, they have to deliver. That is what the thing is. But DEADEYES, guys, I don't know if it's the pressure that's caught up to them or what. The performance is something that has dwindled down quite a lot from their side. But with that, we are going to be looking at another change as the stage is going to be moving ahead. The zone has already, of course, constricted onto itself. On the minimap, we can see the yellow dots. Those are the ones from SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Scattered approach once again being showcased from their side. Hopefully they start recuperating and regrouping But on our screens, we've got, of course, raw officials right next to the players of NB Esports. Mondo, in the close proximity, he does get naded upon, but it seems like he's got 40% health speed hit, and this is going to be where we do have the players of raw officials getting eliminated. Fistboy from the other angle was able to completely annihilate the possibility of a flank that could be created or was being tried to be created from raw officials. And now with 2 defeat points confirmed, NB Esports also push in with 1200 meters to cover. They've got a long journey ahead to get into the zone, and we saw in the minimap that there are so many teams that are trying to get into the zone right now. It is going to be chaotic for NB Esports, but let's see how exactly will their entrance be into the zone, coming in from the western side of the map.
And even Precious Sir is also on a low HP, so I believe it was Nirzet from the side of Stalwart Esports that was peppering few bullets towards their side. And everyone watching the stream, we are very sorry for the audio issues you guys faced, but believe us, everything has been fixed now, everything has been checked. You can enjoy the game now. But as I was saying, DE, well, Precious Sir, he has taken a little bit of the damage, but nothing to worry about. They do have a good position to hold on to. Not the best, but a decent position as compared to Miramar. Need to be a bit careful from the players of DRS as well. As I can see, DRS also in the close proximity. 16 teams, 60 plus still surviving. And this is stage 2 circle. So I think this is a stalemate situation where teams are trying to focus on the position, trying to go for the good rotation. But right now, Gangsta, look at his position. He is in a close proximity to the players of Seal Esports. He is trying to rush back to the safety of the compounds, because out there in the open, Seal Esports can definitely pick them up. But Gangsta with a grenade and Seal Esports on the receiving end. But looks like this is not going to be the perfect projectile, and Seal Esports, they have to reposition themselves as soon as possible.
Interesting gun choice being showcased right here from Gangster, QMP to MT49. But right now, with that, we also do need to, of course, see what sort of synergistic play is Seal Esports working towards. Because Seal Esports, we can see the split coming in from their side on the minimap. It's definitely looking very good in terms of how much control they've got. But at the same point of time, we can see that there is a third party that could be drawn in, and that could be Sitim as well. As Sitim Esports, they have a clear opening to be able to spray down on the players of Seal Esports. But for now, Seal Esports, initially their idea was to, of course, take on the players of ASL and the compound. But now Seal Esports are stuck, as they've got Sitim to worry about as well. You can see Becca crossing the road over there to get Aero, of course, as his vehicle that we can see has already been blown, almost blown. I mean, it's taken a lot of damage. And if Aero would not have given this sort of a Uber service to Becca, then Sitim definitely could have been able to bring down the players of Seal Esports to a 3-man squad. But nevertheless, for now, as you were mentioning as well, we've got a little bit of a stalemate situation being showcased right there. Seal Esports deciding to move away from that area, from that compound perhaps. Or maybe it's a long flank that has been created. As Aero goes out, Sanchir on a different angle altogether itself. We can see the team in green down south of the zone is going to be Seal Esports. But up north, we've got some commotion taking place between SKYLIGHTZ Gaming and NB Esports as well. Now, will there be any contestation between those two? Smack in the center, we've got the players of DRS, TRZ, Stalwart Esports, as well as DEADEYES guys, just patiently waiting as to where the zone is going to be dictating the next stage and its fights.
Well, certainly, on the northern front, we have NB Esports and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and looks like NB Esports are going to show up on the doorstep of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and Mondo has received a lot of damage. Along with that, his teammate also on down to 20 HP. Perfect grenade came from the side of No Fear, takes down both the players of NBES, and now NBES, well, they are now left with only SEK. There is no chance that he can save his fallen teammates, as AJ is going for the confirmation points already made. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming looking good this time. They have the control of the northern front of the circle. They have a good position, good compound to hold on to. All the 4 players are alive. Everything is checked for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming to have a good performance in this particular one. But NB Esports, that was very disappointing from their side, because without scouting the area properly, they directly rushed towards the compound of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. They were not prepared for the aggression or for the grenade that came from the side, especially with the position No Fear was in. Now NB Esports last player is trying to make a quick escape from the situation. Let's see if SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is going to allow him.
Indeed, for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming again. The best part right now is that they've got all 4 players still surviving. They've been able to get that one player, the final player from NB Esports, away from the compound. So it seems they're going to be satisfied with that for now at least. Again, as we move towards stage 4 now, we're still looking at 16 teams, 57 players in total surviving. 3 of these teams are surviving with a 2-man squad. NB Esports, Illuminate True, as well as Raw officials. Right here. A stalemate, the proper stalemate of the Miramar map is being drawn between IHC, Leo Esports. And alongside that, it seems IHC are going to be making some noise right now, as Alex and Demo have jumped away from their compound to go and create a little bit of a flank and a cover fire situation. But right now it's going to be high voltages. Praveen, who seems to be of course in a bit of trouble, but it seems that is no problem at all for him to be able to cover over, because it's ASL who tried to jump onto this warehouse where high voltage were hiding, and now they have been of course awarded with 2 of their players getting eliminated. So ASL, an unworthy push right there, has left them with Gangsta and Bishal, the only 2 players surviving. Whereas for high voltage, they are prepared. They've got the information. They saw the vehicle go behind the compound. So high voltage is going to be ready as well. But in all, there are so many teams that are going to be jumping in towards this zone, making an entry into the zone, where high voltage could very well be in the crosshairs. AVSL definitely are going to be in the crosshairs, as we have got IHC jumping into the prey, and with a UMP in Gangster's hand, he was almost able to bring down and mow down the players of IHC. Had he been able to accumulate 2 knocks over there, it could have been a perfect opening that he could have then capitalized upon against the players of IHC. But right now, Alex, all by his lonesome, has been able to drop down Bishal, and with a sliver of HP, he's not going to be able to. Well, he will, never mind that. He will automatically also bring down Gangsta. He almost had no HP there. But that is the kind of playstyle that IHC loves to play with. It's a do-and-die attitude, and that's what worked for them and has worked for them, which in turn gets them closer and closer towards the consistent play, towards a chicken dinner winning opportunity. But right now, all of those thoughts need to be going in the minds of high voltage, because the compound right behind them is going to be in control of IHC.
High voltage, they better be careful of the rush that might come in from the players of Sitim, and looks like Malik has an idea that the players of Sitim are approaching them, and he's already prepared for it. The grenade that he's trying to lob, will it be the perfect grenade to take down at least 1 player from the side? And looks like no, that is not going to happen. But on the other side, Giro has been knocked down, and Maptex Esports, they are also showing up on the doorsteps of the players of Raw officials. And look at the HP of Claw. Claw is already on down to 40 HP, now down to 20 HP. He has taken some damage from the players of Maptex Esports. Is trying to delay the push by lobbing those grenades, the Molotovs. On the other side of the map, IHC and Leo Esports are also going up against each other, and Maptex Esports, Leo OP has been taken down. He's bleeding. There is no chance for the revival. But let's find out if the players of Maptex Esports can go for the rescue mission onto the fallen teammate, as they are busy engaging in a fight with the players of high voltage right now.
Let's see. This is chaos ensuing. But with that, Maptex's Leo will be given that revival. And now once again, with the 4-man strong army, they're going to be jumping on to take down Raw officials as 2 final players, Claw and Knax. And right now, all out in the open, it is just a little too late, Knax. I mean, had he sprayed down or tried to spray down the players of Maptex a little too early, then it could have maybe worked in his favor. But that's not been the case right here, as Claw, the final player remaining from the side of Raw, is going to get eliminated as well, as Maptex did take a little bit of damage as Kesse was dropped down. But of course, no eliminations there. So Maptex will be able to give that revival, and that means all 4 players still surviving and standing. 13 teams, make that 12 in total, are still surviving in this game, as Leo Esports bid adieu on the 13th position. Seal Esports have been able to accumulate 5 defeat points as of yet. So most certainly Seal Esports are also playing their cards right. Then comes in the second team from Mongolia, IHC, right there in front of our screens, with 4 defeat points of their own. And right next to them is High Voltage, and High Voltage have problems of their own as Sitim has already pushed on to the compound. Praveen goes down, Assassin in the front has already gone down, Malik is being brought on down in terms of his HP thanks to the blues that he's going to be catching up to right now, and it might be the end of High Voltage, and yes, it will be. Just like that, High Voltage get eliminated as well on the 12th position, 11 teams in total remaining. Sitim have been able to utilize their position to perfection right here, and now Dobu with a far end spray bringing down the numbers of course, SKYLIGHTZ.
And with that, certain esports have been eliminated. Never show your back to your enemy, but we have some other fight happening on our screens. Elementary esports and IHC, and the way IHC is carpet bombing the players of elementary, survival is definitely not possible. And 2+ goes down through the grenade that came from Godless, and now the numbers are definitely not in the favor of the players of elementary as Gimli is still bleeding. Frag might want to look for a revival, but he takes on Godless over there, and that could be an opening for the players of elementary, but no, that's not going to happen as Alex with that Info 16 comes in, eliminates Frag, at the same time eliminates Gimli, leaving Frag all by himself, but not for very long, as Frag has also been eliminated, and Astra, the last one standing, bits by Elementrix, they have been eliminated at 9th spot. IHC looking so very strong, 8 defeat points already in their favor. Easy revival will be coming in, but they need to be a bit careful of the players of Stalwart Esports, because Stalwart Esports, they do have a good compound to their name, and so do the players of DE. Both these teams are trying to have the only compounds in the circle, DE right in the epicenter, but from the northern side, we have the players of Maptex Esports also coming in. So Maptex also looking good, but SKYLIGHTZ, again, look at the spread blotter that is coming from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. All the players are so far away from each other that if a knock comes in, I don't think they can go for the revival.
Well, that's the kind of strat that they love to play with, where two players stick together and the other two are always creating a flank and a cover, where we do see flank being taken over by AJ, and No Fear is the man who's going to be covering their position. But again, they don't have to worry about anything right now, because SKYLIGHTZ Gaming in towards the north-western side of the zone are all by their lonesome. But it seems like I spoke too soon, as IHC's Alex has an idea as to if at all there is going to be a team. Well, they are going to be scoping us out from those mountains, and that's exactly where SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are at. But in all of that, the zone is going to be moving away, so SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are going to have to leave that high ground that they were on. But for IHC and Stalwart Esports, trouble have just started. The compound is definitely going to be factored in and favored in favor of Stalwart Esports, but look at the amount of nade parade that is being showcased from IHC's Alex. And he's still not yet done, of course. They need to get into the zone, and the only team that is gatekeeping this area is going to be the players of Stalwart. But alongside that, it seems like Godless was damaged from the players of DRS taking shots. So IHC, they are, of course, not looking at an easy conversion right here. As Stalwart Esports, they don't need to even participate in this fight as of yet. But Action, he's the only one who's outside the compound. He's one who's taken information. He's the one who's at the cover angle and giving him and relaying that information all the way into the compound itself, where of course Stalwart Esports players are waiting, and it seems like this is the moment that IHC were waiting for, and now they have moved on ahead. Alex goes down, but Demo is still up in the air, and Demo pushes on with his monster truck, and now it seems like he's going to be stopping and jumping out, but all by his lonesome. What is he going to be able to do? With all 4 players of Stalwart Esports prepared and ready, this is a really good play that has been created from, of course, the player Demo of IHC. He blocked the entrance, Molotov the entrance as well. But a 1v4 situation is what we're looking at. A perfect nade from Demo results in Nirs going down. IC is brought down to almost a sliver of HP as well. And this nade could be detrimental to the position of Stalwart Esports. Stalwart Esports, are they going to be trying to revive? Or are they going to be pushing on their luck to, of course, get Demo brought down? For now, nades being thrown from both the sides. And now, with the final nade done and dusted, Demo will try and get the first aid popped and maybe try and survive and bring down a opponent, and he will not be able to get a defeat point, but he was able to get a knock. Sadly, that will not be able to do much, as IHC get eliminated. Stalwart Esports, just by a little bit, were able to survive, and now they are going to have to get the revival once again between all of their players. Once that is done, they can push on ahead with all 4 players still surviving. Look at this. I mean, we've got 5 teams remaining. All the 5 teams have all the 4 players surviving. DEADEYES guys, they've been stuck in the center of the zone for such a long time, and they're looking so pristine doing it. They've got nothing to worry about whatever. But DRS, the real soldiers, they seem to be wanting to pounce on and get this chicken dinner in the bag. 9 defeat points confirmed. As slowly but surely, now they bring their presence to the players of Mapdex for now.
Well, Mapdex Esports from the low ground are trying to pick up the plus of DRS over there, but from the backline, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are picking up the plus of Mapdex Esports. At the same time, Delta is down on his knees. He needs a revival as soon as possible, and Gyante is going to come for the help. But Nima is looking for the knock onto the plus of Mapdex, and Kese has also been taken down. And SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, well, they have all the 4 players alive, but Mafia Ninja is bleeding out. But looks like SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they are not going to have any trouble in eliminating the threat of Mapdex Esports, because this grenade can be deadly for Wally, as Wally is the only man standing. But AJ and Nima both have been taken down, and the way Mapdex Esports have retaliated in this situation, it is phenomenal. And SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, few seconds ago, all the 4 players were alive, and now No Fear is the only man standing as the remaining 3 are bleeding. Mapdex Esports, well, they have been eliminated at this situation. Now we are left with only 4 teams and 16 players remaining. But DRS, this is the moment when they can capitalize and gather the knocks of the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming and confirm them to the finish points. DRS, 9 defeat points already in their favor. All the 4 players alive. Stalwart Esports, they also do have the numbers. They are looking for the control from the western side. But DRS, their entire focus right now is on the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming.
Well, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, an interesting play right there between those two, Mapdex and Skylight. Just in the nick of time, the final player of Mapdex was able to bring down the player of Skylight, who threw the nade. But in return, of course, now it seems like revival is going to be provided to SKYLIGHTZ Gaming's players. As we can see, one by one, they've all been revived. And soon enough, they will be a 4-man strong army once again. But for DEADEYES, guys, with 0 defeat points as of yet, they've been holding on to this compound for such a long time, and now it seems like Stalwart Esports are slowly aggressing towards the same, as they have decided that it is time to take this fight in their hands. Whereas for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, we can see now that all the 4 players have gotten the revival, or well, all the other 3 players have gotten the revival, they are going to be now changing the play. From one side, it's going to be, of course, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. From one side, it's Stalwart Esports. And then we've also got DRS. So Delta, my apologies, DEADEYES, guys, they've got a lot of things that they are going to be, of course, dealt with in just a minute's time right now.
Certainly, things are looking pretty stalemate situation has been created in the lobby, as all the 4 teams are waiting for the opponent to come out in the open or do some mistake that they can capitalize on. And we can't say that this team is having the numbers advantage, because we have the perfect 4v4 situation among these 4 teams. And which team is going to get the chicken dinner? Because DE, they do have the circle. With the circle shift, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they have to rush towards the compound of DE and try to take the control. And DE, if they manage to defend this particular compound, I think DE can get this chicken dinner for themselves. But the way SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are using that smoke wall and grenades onto the plus of DEADEYE, guys, DEADEYES are not looking good. But Trula serve with the grenade takes down Mafia Ninja over there, and now SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they have to go for the revival, they have to go for the rescue mission. But No Fear is also down to 80 HP. The way D is using throwables, molotovs and grenades in this situation is very impressive. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming on a back foot situation. The aggression that was being showcased has now been put on a halt. Now No Fear with a grenade is looking for some opening, but he has no idea where exactly the players of DE are.
Absolutely. For now, nade parade being showcased between both of these teams. Molotovs being thrown as well to cover up all the areas that are possible, where of course the opponent is going to be from the side of No Fear. He's tried his level best, but but all in vain basically, because he's not been able to accumulate a knock for himself. But SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, now it seems like with the perfect Molotov being thrown from Nima, is going to be able to create an opening where on top goes down. True Love Sir is going to be all by his lonesome in this compound. 1v3 situation is what he's going to be facing. Along with that, the other compound, we've got 2 players, and a Molotov right to the face as Precious with a vector in his hand is not going to be able to do much. And AJ with, of course, a lot of health. Oh, never mind that, because the perfect spray coming in from the side of Precious Sir has resulted in AJ going down and, of course, getting eliminated right here as well. So the point has been stolen away, and what an incredible turn of events right here from Precious, as he was burning down alive, but still was able to retaliate and bring down the numbers advantage in his favor. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming down to just the one final player remaining. That's going to be no fear. But for DE, again, it's a 2v1 situation, but they need to get that revival first. That is the only possibility where Pressure Sir has gone down, and only a sliver of HP is going to be left on the final player from the side of DE as well. A little bit of a first aid was popped in, and bandage was cocked, but that is not going to be allowed. And none of that is going to be able to help the final player. Just like that, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming down to a one-man army. DE getting eliminated. DRS have been able to accumulate 10 defeat points, of course. Till then, we've got, well, final nade to the coffin, and that's it. Now it's a 4v4 once again between STE and DRS.
Well, certainly DRS having all the four players alive, and they're running very high on their horses. 11 eliminations already to their name. They do have a hard compound for themselves, and on the other side we have Stalwart Esports stocks still bleeding out. Let's see if the players of Stalwart can go for the revival. On the other side, Rules also needs to patch himself up. Deante is trying to blow up the vehicles of Stalwart Esports. Z do give a little bit of the peak, but not enough to receive any damage from the side of Delta. And now DRS, they have to fight with the blue. They have to leave the safety net of the compounds. That is what Stalwart Esports is waiting for. And Z with a perfect spray is already dishing out heavy damage, but Action's grenade is going to be so deadly as he takes down Delta over there. Rolls on a very low HP. Z gun going for reload. That is where Rolls is going to capitalize, and Z has been picked off.
Well, this final fight, it all boils down to, of course, Stalwart Esports' Action, bringing in the action all in his forefront, and of course with that he's got IC to be able to give him the cover as well. But Killer Whitey, the final player remaining from the side of DRS. Now, how exactly is this going to play out? 2v1 situation, of course, quite a lot of damage is being provided to the final player of DRS as Killer Whitey. He's catching up to the Blues as well. He's going to have to run out in the open, and this is the moment where, of course, Action can bring the game in his favor, and just like that, Stalwart Esports will do what they came in to do, and that is to get that chicken dinner in the bag. DRS Gaming, a perfect game for them, finishing up on the second with 12 finishes, 12 defeat points, but nothing can be taken away from Stalwart Esports' play as well. A very low-key play, not the kind of play style that we see from Stalwart Esports this time around. They stuck in that warehouse for a very, very long time, but eventually, of course, when it was time for them to shine, they did so perfectly, and thus, of course, walk away with a winner chicken dinner.
And with 7 elimination, 1751 damage that they were dishing out, and now they're sitting on the second spot in the overall ranking. Total 17 points in this particular game. A perfect strategic gameplay came from the side of Stalwart Esports.
Alright, and we are back once again, of course, right here at PMPL South Asia, where, of course, this is week 2, day number 2 coming to an end. We just got done with the final game, and an incredible conversion right there being showcased, of course, from the players of Stalwart Esports, but it was definitely neck and neck between DRS and Stalwart Esports had the zone not gone away from DRS right there, or if it would have provided a little bit more cover to the players of DRS. But again, nothing taken away from the real soldiers because they got a lot of elimination points from this game.
Well, certainly the way DRS was showcasing aggression in this particular one, I think they are already making a statement that they're not just the strategic team, they're also aggressive team when it requires, when the situation requires for an aggression, they can showcase it, and they definitely showcased it in this one. Yes, the chicken dinner was not in their favor, but still a very high fragging game came from the side of DRS Gaming.
Indeed, it definitely did. And with that, of course, now it is going to be time for us to talk about the most valuable player, the MVP of the game itself. And the most valuable player could actually go from so many of these individual teams. I mean, DRS definitely stood a marker because of the way the players were able to accumulate so many defeat points for themselves. Again, at the same point of time, IHC were not that far behind from that action-packed gameplay that was showcased from their side as well. Same can be said for Stalwart Esports. But are these the only teams that come into mind for MVP, or do you think I'm missing out on somebody?
I think it's going to be someone from DRS only.
You believe so? All right. Well, we are going to find out soon enough. Of course, we're just waiting to see where exactly is this MVP line going to be drawn towards. So let's have a look at the most valuable player from this game. And is it going to be from DRS? Well, it is going to be SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. No fear right here with 8 eliminations. Well. SG is back on track, at least from this game, that's for sure. 8 knocks, 8 confirmed eliminations. 1182 damage that he was able to dish out. A perfect game from him.
Well, finally, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they have found their wings and no fear. He was definitely creating some fear in the lobby with 8 elimination. Definitely